I don't like losing, so I thought I would play this game again. Also, I wanted to try playing as Jonathan Harker because he looks very cool in this game. The maker said in the notes at the end of the book that he wanted to portray Jonathan Harker as the hero he is in the book and not the sissy that so many adaptations do. And I think that's cool. So I've reset all of the stats for everyone. Seward has his combat back and his endurance back. Mina Harker has been transmorgified back into Miss Mina Murray. She has been dematrimonified, which we did by injecting her with one drop of blood from a modern woman. It just yeets the marriage right out of her. So we are all set up, I think. So let's just go to where it starts for Jonathan. I have the rules on my phone in case I need to consult them. I think it's, I believe it's section 1 when you're starting as Harker. Just give me a second. Of course, if I select 1, it's going to have a whole passel of things that count as 1, so that's not going to do me much good. But let's go ahead and start. I'm not going to read too much of the lore text. I know for some people it's like, oh, but the flavor text, it's a book that you play. Don't you want to read that? And I'm like, I don't know. I feel like what actually matters. Didn't I just go over all this? I feel like what actually matters is the gameplay. I'm a big believer that gameplay is what matters, and so I'm just going to focus on the gameplay and not anything else. Yes, here we go. So we start at 1. So we start with a bolt of text that would cause him to heal, having arrived in Batavia, capital of Munich. Hire a carriage. This is still on hand. The carriage doors. He asks the coachman, Jonathan, remember that back by nightfall. Right, okay. Jonathan answers, yeah. Touching his hat, he drives out quickly. We want to ask the coachman, what is so special about tonight? Turn to 31. If not, turn to 92. Given that last time we didn't seem to get a lot of code words and like Dracula's blood didn't advance at all, I'm going to ask. I'm going to live dangerously and maybe ask too many questions. We'll see. When you're clear out of town, the signal driver stop. Tell me, Jonathan, you say. When you have the coachman's full attention, what is tonight? He's answering, should be the St. George's Eve. An old-fashioned German silver thing of triumph, he says, his eyebrows gathered. Okay, I don't know what, that might be the German word for what I'm thinking of. If you press him to tell you more about Wagersplosh, turn to this. If you merely want to motion him to proceed, no, I'm in deep. Besides, asking about it is what happened in the book, so I see no negative ramifications here. He shakes his head. He doesn't want to divulge anymore. John shakes. Okay, through a combination of the coachman's Brooklyn English and your little knowledge of German, you learned that, according to the belief of millions of people, Walpurgis night is when the devil walks abroad, when the graves open and the dead come forth. Okay, that's true. Eve of St. George is similar to Christmas Eve or All Hallows Eve, days when people think that the devil has power, which is nonsense, of course, because the devil only has as much power as you choose to give him. But I don't want to get into that. It is time when all evil things are okay, blah, blah, blah. Seeing the terrified look on the coachman's face as he shares what he knows about the accursed life fling. Okay, we had 1 point of terror. But we get the superstition code word. Superstition. Our stition is now super, which seems very nice. Okay. A little knowledge is a dangerous thing. Okay, well, I see no problem with that. Okay, so we're going to go to 92. And yeah, 92. Come on. Hit me. Right, because we could have gone to 92 directly, but we wanted to get whatever superstition did. Okay, urges the force forward. The road is quite a break for you to traverse the high windswept. The coachman starts to make all sorts of excuses for frankly crossing himself as he speaks. Oh, interesting. So in this iteration, the coachman is not Dracula, as the actual Dracula would not be able to cross himself. Then the horse starts to become restless again, their nostrils flaring as they smell something unpleasant on the breeze. If you want to ask Johann, oh, that's why it's confusing. I'm like, ask Johann. I thought I was Johann. It's like, no, I'm Jonathan. Johann is the driver. I think they're doing that to illustrate that the driver is not Dracula. What spooked the horses? Turn to this. If you do not want to know what is upsetting the animals, turn to 154. I will ask. Maybe I'm being foolish. Okay. Okay. You answered Jonathan points to a spot in the. Oh, buried spots where people killed themselves. Well, that's okay. You've heard the old custom of burying suicides at crossroads, but for the life of you, can I understand why that would frighten the horses? You took off the word suicide. Suicide. Also, apparently, I misspelled superstition. I'm not a good writer, as anyone who's read any of my books can tell. 154. Well, I'm sure there'll be no negative ramifications to me having crossed off the word suicide. Okay. When I go down this road, you tell the coachman as you exit the carriage. I shall not ask you to come unless you like, but tell me why you do not go. He's simply saying the word. You suddenly hear a sound somewhere between a yelp and a bark. It comes from far off. Sounded like a wolf, yes, but there are no wolves here, he says. It's a long time since wolves are near the city. I don't even get the chance to get the crucifix like happened in the book? That seems bad. Checks his watch, and he wants to leave. Tell me about this place when the roads lead. Okay, what is it? The village. There's a village? No, no one lives there hundreds of years. But there is a village. Well, there was. So where is it now? Okay, he's being, they were dead. Something else. He's evidently afraid to speak the last word. In fact, he is in a paradox of fear. Waggersplash, or whatever. Your English blood rises at this. Starting back, you say, you were afraid. Go home. I shall return alone. You walk a walk will do me good. This thing doesn't concern an Englishman. There's nothing the poor fellow can do to dissuade you from the course of action you've decided upon. And so, with a despairing gesture, he turns the horses towards Munich. Do you want to watch him depart to make sure he does as you have bidden, or will you set down the winding road into the valley? I'll make sure he does as I have bidden. He seems sus. So, yeah. Leaning on your stick, you watch Joanne and leap. Ooh, I have a stick. Hold on. Didn't specify that. Equipment and notes. I got a stick. Haha. Take that, Dracula. I'm gonna beat you with my stick. Okay. Crossing over the crest of the hill. A man tall and thin. When he draws near the horses, they begin to jump and kick about, and even in a whinny of terror, Joan is clearly unable to hold them. They bolt down the road, fleeing in a mad run. You watch concerned for the coachman until the carriage passes out of sight, and then look for the stranger again. But he is too gone. There is something unnerving. So we get a point of terror. Wait a minute. Oh, I gave a terror to the wrong person. Womp womp. So I should give the one to here, and then I just get one more, so I'm at 2 terror. Okay, maybe I'm delving too greedily and too deep. Okay, 209. Turning down the side road, you head through the deepening valley, out the side road. There's descriptions of what's going on, and you might find your way back to this place. I don't know where that is. The air is cold. You find it to be carried on the wind. If you want to retrace your steps back along the road that brought you into the valley, turn to 239. If you want to prefer to press on, determined to at least see the deserted village, having to walk all this way. No, I don't want to get lost. I will head back. I feel like going to the deserted village feels like a bad idea. As you do, you set off back your way you come, but as you do, it is as if the twilight deepens and everything. You hear the sound of a wolf come near. It seems to be circling you. You can hear its claws scraping. Panting for breath, you decide to go back the other way in hopes of finding shelter. The beast that hunts at dusk is the deserted village. Deduct 1 point from your endurance score and add 1 to... Oh, dang it. Okay, so my endurance is now 23 of... And I add 1 point to my terror. Well, this is going swimmingly. can. There's a lot of 10s in here. Come on. Come on. Oh, dear. Wah, wah. Come on. Do it. I know it's like a 690-page book. Get over yourself. Okay. Presently come to a wide stretch open country, shut in the hills and sides, and then the snow begins to fall. So to grow hunger, air is thick. You begin to suffer ill effects. Deduct 2 points from your endurance. Okay, that'll get me down to 21. Snow is falling thickly, swirling, and flashes you can see ahead a great mass of trees, chiefly yew and cypress, all heavily coated with snow. Why do I need to know the types of trees? As you soon as shelter the trees, you rush from in darkness. As the storm dies down, add a point to your terror score. Ooh, okay. Now and again, a straggling ray of moonlight points to, and then the drifting clouds obscure the moon. Things be spooky, and then suddenly the moonlight breaks through the clouds, and once revealing to you that you are not in a village, but a graveyard. The edifice ahead of you isn't a house, but a massive tomb of marble. Wait, so I made it to the graveyard? Huh, okay. Impelled by some form of fascination, you approach the sepulchre. Etched in German into the lines above the door are the words, Countess, this person of this place, in this other place, sought and found death, 1801. On top of the tomb, there's a great iron spike. On the back of the wall, graven in great Russian letters, you see, the unalive people be fast boys. Okay. There is something so unsettling about the whole place that you start to wish you had taken the coachman's advice and stayed away. I thought I was staying away. Why did I end up here? You feel the cold perceptibly grow upon you until it seems okay, all right. You start back, icy wings. If you want to run for the cover of the trees, turn to 48. If you would prefer to seek shelter within the sepulchre itself, that seems like a bad idea. Moving towards the trees that mark the boundary of the graveyard. From the storm decides to unleash all the fury upon you. The ground shakes. I'm going to go for the trees because I feel like physical damage is generally pretty easy to recover from, but the terror score is less so. So we're going to go for the trees. The trees, please. Oh, hold on. Head back. Bonk. Okay. You rush to the nearest cypress, but find it affords you barely any shelter from all the hailstones, leaving you no choice but to run for the refuge offered by the tomb. Take an endurance test. Oh, hold on. Dice roller. D6. Yeah, this is what I need. I would like... I need 4 of these, so we're going to roll it up, and I need to roll less than my endurance. Right? That's how it works? Just double checking that is how that works. Endurance. This is a measure of how physically tough the character is and how much strength they have. Okay, well, yeah, that's what it represents. How do I test endurance? Hold on. It's in here somewhere. I just want to double check that I'm doing. Testing your abilities. Roll all 4 dice. If the combined total of all 4 is equal to or less than your endurance score, then you have passed the test. Okay. Hooray. We have passed the test. If you pass the test, turn to 77. If you turn to 106. I imagine 106 kills me. But we have passed. So good for us. Or bully for us, as they say. Okay. Come on. Nope. Need to head back. Here we go. Well, before you sought to avoid, you now sprint towards, seeking shelter from the hailstorm. However, before you reach the Marvel Mausoleum, you're struck by the full force of the icy bombardment. Wait, so I go there anyway? Roll 1 die and add 1, then divide the total by 2, rounding fractions up. Okay, hold on. Roll a die. Rolled a 2. Add 1, so that's 3. Divided by 2, which is 1.5, rounded up, and that's 2. So we take 2 damage. Alternatively, okay, we're not playing with cards. So that gets me down to 19. Okay, and then we turn to 61. All right, 61. Oh, no. 61. Reaching the deep doorway of the tomb, you crouch against the massive bronze door, but leaning against the door with a groaning on the knees. An instant managed to catch sight of a beautiful woman, uh-oh, with plump cheeks, uh-oh, full of red lips, uh-oh, seemingly asleep, uh-oh, upon a stone bier, uh-oh. As the thunder breaks overhead, she stirs and rises from her marble bed, but you are not even sure that her feet are touching the ground. Okay, but how can she? Surely you've been lying. Okay, add a point to your terror score. Take off the code word succubus. Oh, no. Okay. Add a point to terror score. Take off the code word succubus. Succubus. Or is it succubus? I don't know. She suddenly fixes her eyes on the burn red and glides towards you with the hair growing. She shrieks, "Who does disturb my sleep this wormsmuk night?" And then, hands outstretched before her, reaching for you, with her twisted into claws, she flies at you screaming, "No matter, you will pay with your life's blood." You can use Pen is Mighty or special ability. I am gonna not. My combat is 10, which is, as the kids say, very good. And, yeah, I like this. Okay, if you want to use Pen is Mightier, I'm not going to. If not, turn to 91. Let's kill us a vampire. All right. Time to make like a blank sheet and die. Okay. The woman you can only suppose might once have been the Countess of Gratz, rushes towards you. Her elongated eye teeth, bear-like fangs, with something, yourself, best you can stout oak, using your stout oak stick. Yes! In battle, your assailant has initiative. Okay, so she starts with initiative. She has 11 hit points, 9 combat. If you are still alive after 6 rounds, or if you reduce... Okay, so I'm just going to sort of keep some notes here. So she has 9. She has... I'm going to just count damage on a sheet. After 6 rounds of combat, if you reduce the Countess's score to 5 points or fewer, whichever comes first. Okay, so I only got a... Okay, so the way this works is... let's see. Hand-to-hand combat. Roll 2 dice, add the combat. The result is your combat rating. Roll 2 dice and add your opponent. So I'm going to do 2 for me, and then 2 for her. And we're actually even, so I'm just going to roll it even. So roll for her. She gets a 9. Roll for me. I get a 12. Hot dang. Okay, so I win, and I just do 2 damage to her. Okay, so she takes 2 damage. So she is now at 9, which means I now have initiative. So I actually get a +1. So I'm going to... Wait, did I roll for her first or for me first? I guess I rolled for her first. So I'm going to roll for her. And she gets an 8, and I'm going to roll for me and add 1. And I get a 5, which goes up to 6, which means she wins. I take 2 of the damage. And that's 2 rounds of combat that we've had. And if I can survive 6, then everything is good. So I'm going to roll for her, and it's going to be even, so I'm rolling for her. That's a 9. I'm going to roll for me. That's 6. That's 1 more round of combat. I take 2 more of the hits. So it's still going to be even, rolling for her. At a 7, rolling for me. A 9. Okay, I hit her this time. Okay, we do that. That's 4 rounds, so if I can do 2 more rounds, I'm good. Now I get a +1, rolling for her. She gets a 4, rolling for me, +1. I get an 8. That's going to be 2 more damage. That gets a... So she's taken 6 damage. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So she is at 5 or fewer, so the fight is over. Okay. That is not too bad. Okay. Turn to 131 at once. Okay, so I'm turning to 131. Yeah, with combat, it's basically a question of how much damage am I going to take. Okay. Just then, there comes a blinding flash, which strikes the iron spike, summoning the tomb and pours it into the earth, shattering the marble edifice in an explosion of incandescent flame. Hey, divine intervention! Let's go! You were hurled out into the storm, as if you had been grasped by the hand of a giant, pulled backwards. For a moment, you catch sight of the Countess, contorted in agony as she is lapped by the flames, and then her bitter scream of pain. The relentless hailstorm beats down on the air, reverted something about howling of wolves. Okay, roll 1 die and deduct that many points from your endurance. Ooh, That's no fun. Roll a die, and I take 1 damage. Oh, Jonathan is too strong. He is a strong boy. All right. Okay. Roll a die. Deduct as many points from your endurance to score. If you're still alive, go to 89. I'm still alive. I'm still kicking. I'm still smacking. I hit a vampire with a stick. Just like you're supposed to. Stick is powerful. Okay, here we go. 89, 89. Come on. 89. Oh, other way. 89. I'm still alive. Wait, where's section 89? Okay, it's being tricky on me. Give me a second. There it is. Okay. Shaking the cold and shock, you struggle to your feet. Okay, on the ethereal specter draws near and begins to make out one of the ethereal specters. Phantom spewing forth. Oh no. I get a terror point. Okay. If you want to use Pen is Mightier and the abilities now, cross it off. I like my combat. I'm gonna play dangerously. If not, turn to 204. I can fight a ghost. What's the worst that can happen? I die? Come on. Whoop, there it was. All right. Taking... Oh, his combat is only an 8. Pfft. What a chump. Okay. Taking your stout stick in your hand, you lash out at the phantom. I'm gonna beat this ghost to death with this stick. Let's go. Okay, so the phantom has initiative, so he's gonna get a +1. I'm gonna get a +2. So I'm gonna get a +1. If you manage to make a successful strike against the ethereal entity, all you gotta do is hit it once, or 4 combat rounds. Okay, that seems really easy. So I'll roll for it first. It gets a 3. Roll for me +1. Yeah, I hit it. If you manage to make a successful strike against the ethereal entity, yeah. Move to 233. Okay, interesting. And technically it takes 2 damage, so something might happen. Okay. You strike the specter, but your stick passes straight through it, leaving nothing but a trail of clinging mist in its wake. You are incapable of injuring the phantom. Tick off the code word specter. Okay. Getting all the XS's. Spectre. And I get a terror. So my terror is now 7. And turn to 263. 263. All right, let's see what that does. 263. Let's see where it be. 263. The waking night where you found yourself in is too much to bear, and you faint from the shock. Dagnabbit. Gradually, there comes a vague beginnings of consciousness. You're aware of there is in your breast a sensation of warmth, which you find by comparison delicious and yet also heavy. Feeling warmth grasping your throat, you come to a state of full consciousness. You're lying atop you. Uh-oh. A great animal lying atop you is licking your neck. Uh-oh. You dare not move, but through half-closed eyes, you see above great flaming eyes of a gigantic wolf. Oh, heck no. Sharp teeth gleaming down. Okay, you add 2 to my terror score. That's no good. The wolf gives a low growl in fear of your life, but there is coming steering of you here. Hola, hola. Many voices risking all. You raise your head and look in the direction whence the crown came, but the cemetery blocks. As the voice draws closer, the wolf's yelping intensifies as nearing coming the red glow. The wolf arises and... horsemen, hey, long cloaks. Let's go. Carbines, and take aim at the animal. Oh, yeah. Others pursue. Several other soldiers jump down from their high horses, kneel beside you. One of them raises her head and says, "Good news, comrade," he cries in German. His heart still beats. Hartly. So 294. 294. Yeah, I just fought a vampire and a ghost and was mauled by a wolf. What did that take me out? Half of my health? Let's go. Okay. Some brandy is pouring down your throat, which gives you 2 endurance points, just like in real life. Okay, have you found him? Asked one of the rescuers. The reply rings out hurriedly, "No, come away quick, quick. There's no place to stay on this of all nights. What is it? It is indeed," gibbers one of the new arrivals. "A wolf and yet not a wolf," cries another. "No use trying to wound him without the sacred bullet." "Oh dear, I have to deal with vampires? Or werewolves?" remarks the third. "Serves us right for coming out this night. Truly we have earned 1,000 marks." That's a currency, I think, declares the fourth. "There was blood in the marble. Look at his throat. The wolf is lying on him," says the solidarity. "What does it mean? We should never have found him but for the yelping of the wolf. What has become of it?" says the officer. Okay, what's going on? "Let us leave this cursed spot." Okay, you ride through the night until the red streaks of sunlight appear over the horizon and is reflected like a path of blood over the waste of snow, reaching blah, 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 blah. Munich. Hey, it's a good spot to be, Munich. Just drives you to this place. When you arrive at the hotel, he rushes quickly down the steps. Okay, if you want to... Taking you both in hands, he solicitously leaves you inside while the officer salutes you and turns to withdraw. If you want to insist that the officer comes with you to your room so that you might thank him properly, turn to 324. If you prefer to fire, as might rest and recuperate... no, I want to thank this guy. And, I mean, he saved my life. 324. The only reason why this would be bad is that if he happens to be a vampire, I just let him in. Okay, over a glass of wine, he thanks you. The Riesling is an effective restoration of good night's sleep. Hey, 3 more points of health. Let's go. I'm already regaining all my hit points. I did get a bunch of terror points, but who cares? The officer replies saying simply that he is more than glad to have been able to help you. That something. Okay, great. So we just heal up a bit. Nice. Okay. So we go to 354. "But her drink," you inquire when the officer has gone. "How did you know I was lost?" The driver, Johann, came hither with the remains of his carriage, with which had been upset in the horses. "But surely you could not search for party." "Oh no," he replies. "But even before the coachman arrived, I received a telegram, and he has taken a piece of paper." Okay, so this doesn't heal me because it's in the middle of a activation. "Be careful of my guest. His safety is most precious to me. Should aught happen to him, or if he may be missed, spare nothing to find him and ensure his safety. He is English and therefore adventurous. There are often dangers from the snow and wolves at night. Lose not a moment if you suspect harm to him. I answer your zeal with my fortune. Dracula." That's the voice that Dracula has. If you don't believe me, look it up in the book. Okay. As you hold a telegram in your hand. Okay, so that was just a prequel to what was going on. I've already taken 9 terror. Oh no. And I'm going to take 1 more terror. Oh no. Okay, then we go to 384. 384. Here we go. Okay, hey, that's healing. So that's going to heal us up to 23. See, I'm so glad I didn't use that whole pen is mightier thing. I'm going to save that for, like, vampires and such. Okay. Cold night. You're an Englishman, my friend. Welcome to the Carpathians. I am anxiously expecting you. Sleep well tonight. At 3 tomorrow, the diligence will start for Bakovia, a place it is kept for you at the Borgo Pass. I trust that you will enjoy your stay in my beautiful land. Your friend, Dracula. All right. Great. Well, this Dracula seems like a really nice guy, and I'm sure that there will be no problems with chilling with him. Okay, the bed is comfortable, and the town is quiet, but you still do not sleep well as your dream is haunted by wolves. How many of the following code words do you have ticked off? Superstition. Oh, dear. Okay. Superstition, suicide, succubus, and specter. 4. 4 is the number. I have a feeling I'm about to have the mother of all nightmares. The Countess returns to you in your dreams, screaming as the lightning bolt explodes through her and as it echoes through. When you wake at last, you are left feeling badly shaken by your nightmare, no longer entirely sure how much of it actually happened. Add a terror point, lose a combat point. Okay, so those keywords were bad. We'll have to remember that for next time. Okay, so we add a terror point. And we lose a combat point. 9 of 10. Dang it. Turn to 498. Man, I thought side quests would be good. Like doing stuff. But it turns out you should not be trying to ghost stake vampires. You should just focus on the objective, I guess. You rise early the next day and set about preparing for your onward journey. You learn that your landlord also received a letter from the Count directing him to search the best place on the Bakovian coach for you. Do you want to ask him how this was arranged? Ask the landlord and his wife what they know of Count Dracula, or do you simply want to finish packing? I'm going to ask the landlord and his wife what they know of Count Dracula, because I think that will get me a crucifix. So we will go 552. I think it'll give me terror, but it'll give me a crucifix, which theoretically will be very nice. Do you know Count Dracula? What can you tell me? What can you tell me about the Reapers? The landlord and wife crosses themselves, saying they know nothing. This unsettling suspicion leaves you on edge. Check off the code word Babona. Okay, I'm going to assume I don't need those keywords anymore. Babona. And then turn to 602. Okay, that did not get me a crucifix unless it gives me the option to get it later. Okay, you return to your room. I must go at once. You tell her I'm engaged on important business. He is engaged, actually, but not to important business, to Mina Murray. Do you know what day it is? It's St. George's Day? Do you want to answer the old woman's question? I'm going to answer the woman's question. It's 636. Yeah, I know what day it is. I believe it's Tuesday. Okay, of course. It is May the 4th. You know that. I'm sorry I don't understand. It's St. George's Day. Let's go. Oh, today's the eve of St. George's Day. So I guess that was St. George's Eve. Okay. I'm on important business. Madam, please let me go. I'm an English churchman. She's offering me a rosary. We take the rosary. Let's go. We got a rosary. Okay. If you want to accept the proffered gift, turn to 667. I am accepting the gift. I know what happens in the book. If you don't accept, I know that it's really useful. Let's go. You submit and allow her to hang the golden crucifix around your neck. Yeah! I got a stick. And I got a golden crucifix. I'm sure it's colored gold, not actual gold. Whether it was the old Witty sphere or ghostly tradition has changed, you do not feel nearly as easy on your mind as usual. Took off the word kretzel. Or kereds. I hope I pronounced that incorrectly enough. You know how much I prefer to mispronounce European things. All right, 687. I got a golden crucifix. I got a stick. I got terror coming out my ears. I'm almost fully healed. Let's go. Okay. You cannot tarry any longer. Okay, so we don't tarry. Crowd begins at the entrance. You can convince gossip. You can hear a lot of repeating strange words. You want to look up their meaning in the dictionary you've brought with you on your expedition to Eastern Europe. Or you just settle. I'm going to settle myself in because I'm pretty sure I'm going to look up those things and be like, you gon' die, and I do not want to die. I would prefer not to if it can be avoided. By the time the coach set off, the crowd around the inn has swelled. Oh, well, they should probably go on a diet then. You wonder what the gesture can mean. Do you want to ask your fellow passengers what it means? Or would you rather not know? I'm gonna not know. I'm just gonna sleep. I have a golden crucifix. So I feel pretty good about this. The driver cracks the whip. Small four horses. Road is rugged. The verdant's swelling. The coach whines. The temperature drops. The aliens invade. It grows dark. Through the encroaching darkness, you make it to Borgo Pass. One by one, several passengers offer you gifts, odd tokens, and trinkets, which they press upon you with an earnestness. I am going to accept. How do you not accept when it's like, it's dangerous to go alone? Take this. Okay. The items are a curious collection of lucky rabbit's feet, tiny silver charms, mountain ash, but knowing that your fellow passengers are genuinely concerned for your well-being does not allay your fears. Does some do allay your fears. Deduct one from your terror score. Hey, that's nice. I didn't even know you could deduct from the terror score. Deduct one your score. Record the good luck tokens. I just got the good luck card. It's worthless as an event luck card, but maybe it will be useful here. Token. Record the good luck token on your... Oh, no. Good luck is a token. Okay, so I have a golden crucifix, and I have a good luck token. And took off the code word... Oh, boy. SZERENCSE. Okay, then turn to 117. 117. Let's go. Oh, wait, the other way. Here we go. 117. Let's go. Okay, as the coach continues, the last you pass open, dark clouds. You feel you're drawing on their sleeps. Driver looks at the watching mutterings an hour or less the time. German is worse, but while he is speaking, the horse begins to neigh, and other ones begin to vote aye and snort wildly. According to the chorus, okay, you're early tonight, my friend, he says to the coachman. The Englisher was in a hurry, the wretch stammers. That is why I suppose you wish him to go to the place. The driver branches, but says nothing. Nice art. Very good. You cannot deceive me, my friend. I know too much. Something, dead travel fast. Give me his luggage. You cannot help but look back when you see the late companions crossing themselves. Okay. Putting a hand under your seat to find a flask and take it out. Opening it, you sniff the vapors that rise within. The smell reminds you of plum brandy. If you take a swig, I will take a swig. Maybe this thing will, make me less afraid. I'll take a swig of plum brandy. Which arms you. Okay. Gain 3 endurance points. Okay, so that full heals me, which makes me feel like taking all my fights early was good. 4 further measures, and each measure will restore 3 endurance points. However, if you drink more than 1 measure in one go, you must also reduce your combat score by 1 point for every measure over the initial one that you drink. Oh gosh. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna have to copy this text. All right. If you want to keep the flask of plum brandy with you, record it on your adventure. I mean, of course I'm gonna keep it. Okay, so the flask contains 4 measures. So I'm gonna say I have plum brandy 4. Okay, do we reduce? And I'm gonna copy this text, and this is here. Man, I can't imagine having to do this. Okay, the flask contains 4 measures, and each measure will restore 3 endurance points. However, if you drink more than 1 measure in one go, you must also reduce your combat score by 1 point for every measure over the initial one that you drink until after your next battle. Okay. Until after your next battle. This may also deduct 1 point from your terror score, but this is not cumulative. For example, if you drink 2 measures in one go, you would have to temporarily reduce your combat score by 1, whilst permanently reducing your terror score by 1. But if you empty the bottle in one go, you would have to reduce your combat score by 3, but would still only reduce your terror point by 1. Okay. I think I understand. So I can drink 2 bits, and that'll reduce my terror score by 1, but will reduce my combat by 1 until after my next battle, which I'm assuming a use of pen is mightier than the score, then the pen is mightier than the sword will count for. Oh boy, things just got real complicated. But I have this, and we can think about that later. Man, I didn't have any of this cool stuff when I was playing as Jonathan. Maybe I was just avoiding it. Okay, 303. You're terrified. No. 303. And 303. Come on. 303. Hit me. Strike me. Commence with the violence. Inflict damage upon my personage. Okay, there we go. Hemmed in by trees, baying of wolves. Suddenly, you are left in an incoherent light. He brings his 2 wolves draw near. Do you want to disembark and set off after the driver? Turn to 333. Will you return or will you remain where you are and hope that the gypsy returns soon? Oh boy. Okay. Like a flickering flame, the driver secretly seen too, for he is brings the cash to Brookhart. Um, yeah, I'll chase after him. Because the blue light is where treasure is buried, because I know these things. So, and I have high health, and I have this healing thing, so let's go for it. The howling of the wolves stops. You leave the carriage, the horses, you step off in pursuit of the driver. Watch as the man gathers up a few stones and forms them. And then the moon sailing something. Oh dear, add one to my terror score. Dag nabbit. I'm not very good at this game. All at once the wolves fall back at the moment the cloud passes across the face of the moon, and you are plunged into darkness. Free of the fear paralysis, you hurry back to the carriage. Before your driver spots you, you take your seat, wrapped in the cloak. Take off the code word Langok, and then turn to 363. Okay, I hope that code word is good. 363. Do I get to find treasure? I want treasure. Okay, as abruptly as he vanished, the man suddenly reappears and takes a seat again. You can't help but feel things in the gloom. The courtyard appears to be comparable size. Something's clearly ancient. You see no sign of a bell. As you stand there, you realize that this is the same place Mr. Renfield visited before you. Okay, you hear heavy steps. Tall man, clean-shaven. "Welcome to my house," he says in excellent English, but with a strange intonation. See, strange intonation. I told you to look it up. "Enter freely, go safely, and live something of the happiness you bring." You step over the threshold. The man moves forward impulsively. "Count Dracula?" No, I can count other numbers. I am Dracula, and I bid you welcome, Mr. Harker, to my house. Come in. The night is chill, and you must need to eat and rest. You take your luggage, and he says something. "I've dined already." This is a famous scene. I don't need to recount it. Count leaves the bag inside the room with drawers. Past midnight. I don't think I'm missing any triggering text. In the past midnight, you want to... Okay. I trust you will find all you wish. When you are ready, come into another room. There you will find your supper prepared. It is past midnight. If you want to politely decline the host's offer of supper and retire for what may remains of the night, turn to 371. If you would prefer to have something to eat before retiring, I'm just going to go to sleep now because I'm afraid that if I hung out with him, I'm going to get more terror. And I feel like terror is what's going to kill me. You sleep and disturb visions of phantasms and whatnot. Having dressed, you go into the room. Supper is laid out before the night. My friend, I have been to be absent for a while. Not wait for me to gain 2 endurance. All right. Man, why do they even have combat? Gain 2 endurance points if you died last night, but 3... Well, I'm full health anyway. I just don't get, like... They didn't test the game to see how much damage you would take, and they just give you way too much healing. Strange things, done with a meal, 6 o'clock. Okay. Seeing the sun sneaking towards the mountains through one of the windows, you determine that the door by which you first came upon your suite of rooms is in the southern wall. Oh dear. Your bedroom lies through the door to the western wall. And on the eastern side of the 2 dining rooms, there is another door, and between these 2 is the north. There is a 4th. Ignoring the way back to your bedroom, do you want to try the door? Oh, good grief. Okay, so in the book, when he tries to go into this place where he's not told to, he gets attacked by the vampire ladies. So I want to try to avoid doing that. Your bedroom lies through the door in the western wall. Okay. This is like a text adventure. On the opposite, on the eastern side of the dining room, there's another door, and between these 2, in the north wall, there's a 4th. So it's just random. Okay. I have no context with which to make these decisions with. I guess I don't want to go through the opposite one, so I'll go north. This is just a random. 431. We'll go through the north. I don't love it. If this just kills me, I'm going to be a little upset. Okay. The door opens, finding yourself in a library. You set about scouring the shelves. You are delighted, if not surprised, to discover the archives contain a bunch of books. In a library? Impossible. Number English books. Okay, the books are varied in nature: history, geography, blah, blah, blah. Do you want to continue examining the English books contained within the Count's library, or would you prefer to look for something pertaining to the region of Transylvania and its customs? Hmm. Um. This is an interesting choice. I'm gonna go with the. I feel like if I do the Transylvania stuff too much, I'm gonna scare myself. So I'm just gonna do the English books, which is 471. Come on. Yeah. Okay. There are even such reference books as the London Dictionary and some other stuff. While you're looking at the books, the doors open and Count enters the library. 614. Okay, hello. For some reason, the game did not want me to just go back to my room. I hope you're not mad about that. I'm glad you found your way in here. Oh, okay. Oh, he's being nice. See, this Dracula's a bro. I'm sure there is much that will interest you. These companions, at his lay hand on some of the books, have been good friends to me, and for some years past, ever since I had the idea of going to London. But alas, as yet I know your tongue through books. To you, my friend, I look that I know how to speak it. You shall, I trust, rest here with me a while, so that by talking I may learn the English intonations. You see the counts, but okay, sure. I can teach you how to speak. That I feel like is not going to have any bad problems. I speak words real good. I know all the words. I got the best words. All other people's words, totally bad. Mine are the best. At least that's what I've heard. That's what people tell me. I would never say that. Okay. Ooh. Wait a minute. You may go anywhere you wish within the castle, except where the doors are locked, where, of course, you will not wish to go. Okay, very good. If you have the code word Langok ticked off, I do have the word Langok ticked off. Turn to 553. Okay. Turn to 553. 553. Okay. Talk of strange things causes you to call to mind the coachman's actions the preceding night. In your encounter with the wolf pack. If you want to ask the Count about what you witnessed, I will ask the Count about what I witnessed. Because that's what happens in the book. And they win in the book, so I'm going to do that. Oh dear, I don't like that. Okay. Is it evident? A commonly held belief. Wait, that's it? It's just bad? Buried treasure. Dang it. Okay, well, phooey. Dracula gets 2 victory points. Alright. Maybe I avoided something worse by doing that? I wish the game would communicate these things to you, because I sort of just feel like I'm stabbing in the dark here. Come, the Count says, tell me of London. Okay, and Carfax. As you're putting your papers together, you notice an atlas lying on the table. Sure, I'll look at it. 684, 684. Maybe this will be useful for later. The book falls open. Map of England. 2 other locations are marked. Exeter and Whitby. Okay, I feel like this is useful. So I think what they're sort of going for here is that at the beginning of the game, you're trying to avoid information because it's scary. But at the end of the game, you're going to require all of these clues that you picked up by taking this damage. And it's going to be easier for you the more clues you have. So there's this sort of push and pull between trying to get too much fear early, but also wanting to get these code words. I think, I don't know, it just sort of seems like that's what should happen. Okay. Still at your books, an excellent meal, 2 more endurance points that I don't need. And I have this healing potion that I don't need. I'm tempted to use it just to recover the terror point. If you drank 2 measures in one go, you would have temporarily reduced your combat score by 1, while permanently reducing your terror score by 1. But if you empty the bottle in one go... So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait until like a combat thing. I'm going to drink 2 of it, reduce my terror score, then use the pen is mightier. At least that's what I'm thinking. Turn to 743. 743. Because it's until after your next battle. So if I use it in between battles, it's only one battle that I deal with, but if I use it in a battle, the combat negative will affect that battle and the next battle, which is interesting. Okay, so 7 to 3. You only sleep a few hours. Ooh, take an ESP test. How good is my ESP? It's a 7. So I gotta roll a 7 or lower? And I do. Right? I gotta hit or less. Roll 2 die. May exceed its initial level. There are various ways. It's terror test. Equal to or less. I passed. Hooray. Okay. If you pass the test, turn to 804. Okay, 804. What happens? The count enters your chamber. Good morning. Taking a turn back. Count is close to you and over your shoulder. There is no reflection. At a point, I get a point in my terror total. Even after passing the test. Okay. But I get this code word, which theoretically is going to help me. Single horrified reaction. This is a wretched thing. Away with it. Okay, so he gets rid of the mirror that I didn't know that I had. Okay, 945. 954, I mean. 954. It's very important I don't accidentally type that in or else I'll get lost forever. Okay, opening the window. He gets rid of it. You soon stumble out of the room, faces the south. The view is magnificent. Okay. You find yourself thinking. Yeah, I did that once. You've hardly come to the conclusion when you hear a great door shut. In an effort to hide, you speak. We have a right to be proud. Okay, sure, why not? Something about Dracula's being pretty cool. The Count turns his gaze on the crest. If you want to ask him the significance of the crest, turn to this. You prefer to say nothing. I don't want to get spooked, so I'm just gonna chill. 861. Ooh, I almost missed it. That's scary. But enough of the past, says the Count. Let us focus on thoughts on the future, prosperity, preparations, forthcoming journey to England. I wish you to write to our mutual friend, Mr. Hawkins, he says. Maybe I should have asked. That could have given me information that will help later. I desire very much, so that I may learn of your English. You wish me to stay so long, you ask. I'm gonna acquiesce, because if I say I gotta leave, then he's gonna kill me quick, I think. So I'm going to acquiesce. 801. All right, 801. Here we go. Come on. 801. Let's go. Oh, go the other way. 801. Oh, it looks like I avoided a bad thing there. 801. Let's go. Come on. Okay. What can you do but agree? So I do. Maybe if I'd said no, some bad stuff would have happened. Let me warn you, my young friend, that you should leave these rooms. Besides, I technically should be a good real estate agent and, acquiesce. Wondering if it's a dream. I turn to 172. 172. Let's go. 172. Okay, now you feel things. I did those once. Oh dear. Okay. You look at the coming out of the window. The revulsion terror has overwhelmed you as you see the man slowly emerging from the window, begun to crawl on the castle wall head first. Take a terror test. Okay, so I got to roll higher than my terror test. So terror is different because since terror ticks from below to up, it works the same as like an endurance test, but you want to roll equal to or higher. Equal to or greater than my terror. So let's roll. Come on, big money, big money, big money. That is equal to or greater. Let's go. Okay. If you pass the test, turn to 225. Okay. If you pass the test, turn to 225. 225. Okay. What good thing happens here? What manner of man is Count Dracula, or manner of creature? Taking up your lamp, you descend the stones of the stairs. Instead of saw and examine, you have entered the wing. Okay, and the castle is built of things. Exploring the portion of the castle, you come to bend in the passenger. There is a non-ironed oak door. Do you want to try the door to your left, or will you keep following the... Oh, okay, hold on. I need to read this. Okay. The castle is built on the corner of a rock so that on three sides it is quite impregnable. Great windows were placed here during its construction where sling or bow or culverin could not reach. That's a type of cannon, by the way. To the west is a great valley. Exploring the portion of the castle, you come to the bend in the passage you are following. There's an iron-studded oak door to your left in the south-facing wall. A chill wind is blowing through the cracks between the planks. To your right, the passage continues to a suite of rooms at its end. I am going to continue following the passageway, because I'm pretty sure that doorway, if I remember reading the book, is where the vampire ladies are at. And the right tends to be good, and the left tends to be bad in terms of spiritual things. So I'm going to do that. Okay. Moonlight floods in. And I get scared. All right. That's no good. Descending a short flight of crumbling steps, you find yourself in an octagonal chamber. Uh-oh. This is not good. The opulent chamber is where the vampires were. Dag nabbit. Okay. A short flight of steps that appear to be an opulent chamber, bedecked with silken drapes. I'm not going to the opulent chamber. The door to your left is adorned with a pair of ancient curved swords, their blades pitted and tarnished by time. To your right bears some dragon crest, as it is carved into the chimney. Okay, so interesting choice here. So I'm not going to the opulent chamber. That's a trap. The door to the left. So do I want to go to the one? The door to your right bears the same dragon crest as carved into the chimney breast above the fireplace. So that's the crest of Dracula. That's going to be his room. If I can go in there when he's not there, that seems like that is good. The door to your right bears the same dragon crest as carved into the chimney breast. So that, let's go right. Yeah, 529. I like that idea. And swords are scary. 529. Okay. Unless that's about to kill me. Okay, the door opens and you enter the gloom-haunted room. Ancient moth-eating worn banners, perhaps splinters. The armor has been posed as if it was still occupied. Arms crossed in front of the breastplate. The gauntlets together resting on the hilt of a magnificent sword, the tip of which is bounced in a groove in the wooden splinter. Ooh. The blade does not appear to have suffered the unkind attentions of time. Oh, man. Grab sword? How do I ever not say that? I will take up the sword. Let's go. And I die. Carefully unclasping the ground, you take the sword. Take an ESP test. Okay, my ESP is 7, so this is a pretty even roll. I gotta roll equal to or less, right? I rolled a 7. Let's go! I passed the test, 589. If you pass the test, I go 589. Yeah, all right. The room suddenly starts to spin as the visions blur, but in your mind's eye you see another kind of vision. You're caught up in the midst of a battle. In the distance rises the ramparts, ground low, and then the hordes are charging. Turks and the forest stakes. Picking yourself up again, you steady the mysterious blade, searching for an explanation of the strange visions that assailed you. Add 1 to your ESP score. Oh. Interesting. I like that. Okay, great. And yeah, your ESP can go above your starting amount. The other ones can't unless it specifically says so. All right, so 616. 616. All right. Okay. The blood is the life. Okay, well, I already cracked that. Okay, the great sword is a magnificent example of the metallurgist's art. The quintillions. As long as you are wielding the blade in battle, you may add 2 points when calculating. Okay, so I have this now, right? Okay, I'm just gonna say that I have this. So I have a. I'm just gonna say sword. Okay. Record the dragon sword. Oh, okay, it has a name. All right, fine. So this is called the dragon sword. Noting that you can only carry one bladed weapon at a time. Okay. It has, as long as you are wielding the better, you may add 2 to your combat rating. And if you wound an opponent, you may subtract 1 additional. And if you wound an opponent with it, you may subtract 1 additional point of damage. Interesting. I wonder why I would want to do that. So it's precise enough that I can choose to not kill someone? That's a little weird. Okay. As long as you're wielding the blade in battle, you may add 2 points when calculating your combat rating. And if you wound an opponent with it, you may subtract 1. You may subtract 1 additional damage. Is that a? Hold on 1 second. Is there an errata? Pennsylvania begin to mark. No? Doesn't seem. Okay. Record the dragon sword in your adventure sheet. You can only carry 1 bladed weapon at a time, and then turn to 642. All right. I'm feeling pretty good. I got a crucifix. I got a sword, which is like a knife. So I got a knife. I got a crucifix, and then I guess the lucky items is kind of like garlic. That's not a bad hand for a 1v1 fight with Dracula. That's I would even almost call that quite good if we're going by the rules of the board game. Okay. Leaving the room again, do you want to try the door opposite you, the one bearing the twin Janissary sabers? I got high stats. Let's go. Turn to 672. 672. Come on. 672. The door is unlocked, and opening it, you step into a room shrouded in darkness. You raise your lamp. I have a lamp? It's full of trophies. Ottoman Turks, spoils, number of items. Ooh. Okay, so it's just loot. Okay. Number of items in particular pique your instinct. A fanned arrangement of swords. So I already have a sword, so I'm not going to look at the swords. Containing a number of glass bottles, a large chest that has its lid closed, and an ornate okay. I feel like the chest is a trap. An ornate flask supported in a brass stand. Let's look at the apothecary box. I already have a flask. Well, it might be holy water, but why would you have holy water here? This is Janissary stuff. So the Janissaries wouldn't have holy water. They're Muslims. I don't need the sword because I already have a sweet sword. Take a closer look at the apothecary's house. Take a look at the large chest. I feel like the large chest is a trap. So I'm going to go for the apothecary box. 769. 769. 769. 769. The bottle stored in the box contained dry residue of a dozen things, but there was one liquid. It's clear. You discover. Oh gosh. Oh man. Okay. Like, it would be so dumb if this just kills me. If you would replace the stopper and return the bottle to its place with the velvet lined box, what do you want to do instead? Okay, if it's odorless, that makes me feel like it's a poison. I'm not going to drink a random potion. Like, come on. There's no way. I'm already full health, so like what would it do if it was good? Take a closer look at the large chest. Okay, the large chest is it's tempting me too much. I'm going to go to the large chest. Let's go. Large chest. Come on. Hit me. It's going to have like a severed head in it, isn't it? 89. Finding the strongbox unlocked, you lift a heavy lid. A king's ransom of silver coins. You cannot help but gasp in wonder. Picking up one of the coins, you scrutinize it more closely. One side is covered with Arabic script with some information. If you want to fill your pockets with the antique coins, turn to 859. If you would rather leave the treasure hoard untouched, I am going to. Just because I know from the meta that he's a vampire, and it is going to be important for me to have money when I escape in order to get back. You fill your pocket with coins till you can carry no more. Add the antique coins to your adventure sheet. Hey, let's go. Okay. Hopefully this is not going to cause any negative ramifications, but I mean, he's going to kill me anyway, so antique coins. And technically I don't have this stick. I was just being silly. Okay, I have antique coins. Nice. Turn to 890. 890. Let's go. Okay, I'm ready to head back to where I need to be. 890. Come on, let's go. 890. 890. Here we go. Okay. You slowly become aware of a whispering sound within the room. Uh-oh. Curiosity getting better, you try to close in on the source of the sound until you are standing before a table upon which rests a silver stand. Something is clearly resting on the stand, but a dusky silken cloth has been draped over it. Okay, so silver is bad for vampires. Something is clearly resting on the stand, but a dusty... I can't resist. I can't resist. I want to remove the cloth. 949. Okay, pulling the cloth free, you immediately take a step back, giving a revulsion voice. You find yourself face to face with that appears to be a mummified head. Okay. And then your heart... And then you hear the whispering again, realize issuing from the dead man's lips. Okay. Do a terror test. So I need to roll higher than my terror, I believe. Okay, that's a 15. My terror is a 13. I'm good. Okay. If you pass the test, go to 99. I did pass the test. What's that gonna do to me? Come on. Oh boy, there's a lot of these. Whoa. I'm gonna go like this. It's 99, so it's gonna be all the way back here. Okay, we're close. We're close. I can feel it. I can feel it in my nouns. Come on. Okay, yeah, if I see this symbol, I'm supposed to add 10 and do that one instead. 99. What do I get for passing this terror test? Okay. Your heart is pounding inside your chest. Nonetheless, stand beware, for the accursed lord of this place is a ghoul, a demon who drinks blood. Oh, he's a vampire. Oh, okay. Man, and his voice was so cool. Add 1 to my terror point. Okay. And deduct 1 blood point. Ooh, that's nice. Okay, so we staked a vampire. Sort of. Kind of. Then turn to 59. 59. Let's go. Oh, no. 59 be this way. Come on. 59. Let's go. Come on. Okay, you move as if in a trance, your footsteps carrying you down the flight of steps and enter an opulent, adorned chamber. Stopping at the bottom, you take the surroundings of lamp held in your hand. So it's evidently the portion of the castle you occupied by the ladies in bygone days. Uh-oh. Sense of sleep is upon you. Hesitancy comes with the... Oh, boy. Okay, I gotta do an ESP test. My ESP is higher, but 8 is still not great. Okay. So that's a success, right? Because I got to go equal to or less when it's an ESP. If you equal to or less, right? Because high number good, you want to roll under it. Okay, so all right, so I pass. Man, I'm doing so much better. If you pass the test, turn to 200. 200. Let's go. Okay. Just as you are on the verge of giving sleep and terror, the Count's warning comes to mind. Let warn you, my young friend, that you should not leave these rooms. Bad things happen if you do. As a struggle to rouse yourself from the unnatural lethargy, in front of you illuminated by them were 3 young women. Kill them! Kill the vampires! But they cast no shadow. Two are dark. All three advocate towards you, slowly, gracefully, smiling seductively. The tip of their tongue playing over their exposed teeth, plump lips. Take a combat test. If you pass the test, turn to 90. If you fail... Okay, so my combat is... Okay, so what is the phrasing on the dragon sword? As long as you are wielding the blade in battle... Okay, so I'm going to be a bit of a stickler here, but I'm going to say that I am not in a battle here. This is just a combat test. So I got to roll lower than an 8. Roll it up, or an 8 or lower. Oh, wow. Man, I'm just so good at rolling low. If you pass the test, turn to 90. All right. I rolled a 90. Be gone, thought. Or thoughts. Anytime you are tempted by any impure thoughts, you just say, be gone, thought. And that's what he looks like when he's climbing down. It's very spooky. All right, 90. Come on, 90. Let's go. Ba-da-ba-da-ba-da. Keep scrolling, 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 scrolling. Keep scrolling, 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 scrolling. Keep scrolling, 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 scrolling. Keep scrolling. Oh, there we go. Despite their unearthly beauty, there is something about the women that makes you feel uneasy. You feel a deep longing swelling within you, but at the same time, they are not Mina. So you say, be gone. Okay. You know, you could have just gone to the thing. Oh, I'm guessing this is Dracula shows up. Now fully alert. Appears to have taken the aspect of a snake. Uh-oh. That's not good. The unnatural woman stalked and slithered towards you. Take a terror test. Okay. Terror test. Pop up. Let's roll it up. That is a 13, which is... Oh, okay. Hold on. All right, guys. Here's the deal. I am... It doesn't say that I can't do this, but I am. I'm going to drink immediately 2 bits of this, which will turn my terror down by 1. And I am suffering a -1 till next battle, which means that I pass this test. Now, you might say, Quincy, you can't do that after rolling a dice. Maybe, but I'm not going to look up the rule, and it is more fun this way, so I'm going to do that. So I've used 2 of those. Technically, I've wasted some healing, reducing your terror score by 1, but if you empty the bottle and will go, you'll have to reduce your combat score by 3 points, but would still only reduce your terror by 1. What? So if I drink the whole 4 in one go, I have to reduce my combat by 3 points? Well, it's permanently reducing your terror score by 1, but if you empty the bottle... Okay. Interesting. Okay, so technically I passed this. I don't see anything here that says I can... that I can't, like, do it at any time. So I'm going to. If you pass the test, turn to 276. I'm turning to 276. 276. And basically, this is going to make it so that my sword... Okay. All right. You leap up against the couch trying to defend yourself. You want to run from the chamber as fast as you can. Prepare to fight these monsters. Throw the antique corns at them. Throw some good luck tokens at them. Or brandish the crucifix. I have a crucifix, so I'm going to brandish it. Okay, I brandish the crucifix. You brandish the crucifix, and the old women go before you on a natural hurriedness. In response, they howl like banshees. Yeah! Fall before Jesus! The power of Christ compels you to have your asses kicked and fight your way free from their domain. If you end up actually fighting the foul fiends, you may reduce all their combat scores by 1. Oh, interesting. If you want to use the Pen as Mightier special ability, cross off 1 use and turn to 6. I think I will use the Pen as Mightier here. Because then it's going to undo this. And I'll be back at 10. And then I'll be, like, really good. Oh, man, but I feel like I could really whoop. Although I'd be at 8. Plus 2 would have me at 10. And they'd be -1. I'm full health, though. Like, if I weren't full health, I would say maybe not. But I'm not. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna fight. Yeah. 3, 4, 4. Let's fight. So they get to have their combat score reduced by 1. I gotta remember that. Which basically, if you're wielding the dragon sword, turn to 4, 3, 3. I am wielding the dragon sword. Okay. Okay. The monsters recoil in horror when they realize you intend to defend yourself with the ornate dragon sword. Come, sisters, declares the bat-winged Hartley. With you hearing her archaic tongue, quickly, let us put the animal down, and then we can drain the blood of him. Okay, how about you don't? Okay. In battle, you have initiative, but you must fight wielding the sisters. Okay, hold on. I gotta read up the rules on fighting multiple enemies. And I think the idea is... Hold on, let me pull this up. Okay. Where are the rules? Sometimes you have to fight more than one enemy. For every 2 opponents you have to fight simultaneously, you must deduct 1 point from your combat rating. Okay, this is a little complicated. So I'm going to roll once, and then apply that to them. And then I'm going to roll once. Ooh. Do I take multiple damage? For example, if Mina Murder found herself fighting 3 wolves, she would still only have to deduct 1 point from her combat rating. Okay, yeah, so this is as if I'm fighting... Oh, gosh. Okay, I'm going to have to write this down. All right, so the first one has 8. Next one has... Oh, wait, no. 8, 10... The siren has 9. And then in terms of combat, we have 7, 9, 8. Which is actually 6, because it's -1. And then instead of 9, it's 8. And then instead of 8, it's 7. Okay, so I'm -1 because of the alcohol. But I'm also +2 because of the sword. So I'm +1. So I'm at 10. So I'm going to roll for me. And it's going to be 10 plus 7. So I'm at 17. So then I'm going to roll for them. So 17, they rolled a 2, so I'm pretty sure I beat all of them. So that's going to be 6 goes down to 4, which even with initiative, which did it say who has initiative? You have initiative. Oh, so I'm plus another one. Okay. 8 goes down to 6, and 7 goes down to 5. Okay. That seems good. All right. And I got to do 5 combat rounds. That was 1. So now we go again. I'm going to roll for me. So I'm at a 7 plus... So I'm a +1. So the +1 basically cancels this out. And then I'm +2. So 11 plus 7 is 18. So I'm at 18. And they roll, and they get a 7. 7 plus 6 is not 18. 7 plus 8. I said it was 18, right? Yeah, 7 plus any of those numbers is not 18. So I do another set of damage. So the 8 turns into a 6. Wait. No, I hit her twice. No. This should be... I'm keeping my notes all wrong. I'm doing this by hand. Succubus should be at 4 HP. Okay, she should be at 4 HP. This is the second round. The middle one should be at 6 HP. 6 HP. And her combat should be a 8. And the bottom one should be at 9 minus 4 is 5 HP. I keep changing the wrong one. And her combat should be at 7. Okay, I won a round, so I'm still +1, which cancels out my alcoholism. So I'm going to roll, and I get a 6. I just want to check real quick. I don't get something if... Or as soon as you reduce the endurance score of one of the fiends to 4 or fewer. Have I done that? Wait, I think I did. Yes, I did. Oh, wait. Oh, okay. So I've won 2 rounds. Gets her to 6 and then to 4. So I've done that. So turn to 618. All right. So I'm not going to resolve that last one. 618. We go there. Man, this sword is really nice. Oh, and I should have said that I was +1. I think I did that combat right. Because I was +1 for this, +1 to here, and that got me to 10. And I like rolled equal to them or higher. None of their combats were higher than mine. So yeah, okay. I think I did that right. Okay. You're suddenly aware of the presence of the count. As you cast backwards, these are here. 6, 7, 9. Okay. 6, 7, 9. Also, I just did a combat, which means that I no longer have this effect. Okay, I'm still at 9 combat, which is not ideal. Dracula grasps the slender neck of the second with steel grip. He says, "Hey, quit it." And they're like, "Oh, but we wanted to kill a man." They're like, "Not until he does my paperwork." Okay. The bag suddenly moves, living with it. Oh, and then he gives a baby to the children, to the vampires. And that is pretty bad. So terror goes up by 2. Yeah, that feels about right. And then aghast with horror, you mercifully pass out. 709. 709. Okay. Okay, I wake. I would heal, but I have been just whooping these combat encounters. And there's some strangeness with the dates. The bandits of Zgani arrive at the castle and set up camp within the courtyard of the gypsies. Perhaps you could write some letters home and try to get the Zgani to have them posted. Alternatively, so I know the Zgani work for Dracula, so I'm not going to fall for that. Wait and see if a proper chance to escape presents itself. You could try to take on the Count directly by ambushing him the next time. Oh, no. Oh, I don't know about that. I don't know about that. Do I just want to attack Dracula now? He only has 1 blood point. I have the 2 combat. I guess I have the cross? Oh man, do I go for an early fight with Dracula? Long left to live. You could try to take the Count directly by ambushing him the next time he comes to visit you in your chambers. Man, I don't know. I think that's a bad idea. I'm going to see if a proper chance to escape presents itself. I'm going to go for 766. Because I know this is Ghani. If I do that, they're going to be like, nah, bro. We Dracula's boys. Almost another 3 weeks pass before an appropriate opportunity presents itself. On the morning of 17, you are sitting on the edge of the crackling of whips and pounding of horses. Hurrying to the window, you see 2 lighter wagons driving to the yard. Perhaps Slovaks. You cry out to them and look up. Pointing... Zgani appears. Okay, the wagon contains great square boxes. Once you uploaded tonight, you hear the sound of a mattock and spade echoing through the castle. Squinter are quartering somewhere in the castle. Okay, but then another sound makes you start. It is the low, piteous howl of dogs. A couple of sleepless hours pass, and you hear a sharp wail elsewhere in the castle, which is quickly suppressed. Then there is silence and awful silence. Okay, all right. Remind of the horror. Okay, do you want to go to the window and see what is going on? Turn to 7. Prefer to stay where you are and not involve yourself in the affairs. It is not within your power to influence. I'm not going to involve myself in the affairs that's not within my power to influence, because I know what happens. The woman gets eaten by dogs, and I don't want to see that, because there's nothing I can do to stop it. So, now the woman's cries, hammer away. You hear the wolves. Okay, add 1 to your... I still add 1 to my terror score. Damn it. Okay. I do not like how high my terror score is going. How will you ever escape from this? If you want to continue to wait for fate to play hand, turn to that. Or would you rather seize control of fate and act now? I feel like I gotta act now, because my terror score is just gonna be ruined. And technically, in the book, now is when he tries to escape. So we're going to do that. You realize that you must take action, or other forces are going to do bad stuff. As the sun is high in the sky in the morning and strikes the top, no one can know till he has suffered enough. Deduct 1 from your terror score. All right. Okay. That's good. You decide to take action whilst courage is upon you. Considering you have never seen the Count out and about in daylight, you are intrigued to know if you want to climb out of the window and descend to the Count's chamber this way, or if you would prefer not to attempt something so reckless. How good is my agility? A 9. 9 is pretty good. I would have to roll a 10, 11, or 12. Yeah, I'm going to do it. I'm pretty sure if I fail this test, I will freaking die. I'm gonna do it. Yeah. This is what he does in the book. While your courage is still fresh, you go to the window and ease yourself. So it begins. Take an agility test. 223. Well, no. I have to do the test. Okay, roll it up. Okay, I'm good. Whew, easily done. 223. I'm curious if I would have died, but I'm gonna try not to cheat. You look down only once, for a moment or two, and then pull yourself through the fireplace flue. Having fairly assumed the direction of the distance of the cat's window, looking around you are surprised to see by the morning light coming through the window that the room appears to... Okay, slipping through the... I made it! Okay. Appears to have never been used. The furniture is the same. One corner of the room. Compelled, there's no... descending, take care. It's dark here. You feel compelled to follow a passage wherever it may lead. An old ruined chapel that is evidently not... Okay. There's no sign of Sisgani. Do you want to make a thorough search of the chapel, or do you feel that you have seen enough and want to quiet this place of death? I'm going to make a thorough search. Maybe I'll find some holy water or something. Or maybe I'll find Dracula and I can sucker punch him for 1 point of damage. You make a search, lying inside one of the... Is the Count! You cannot tell whether he's dead or merely asleep, for his eyes are... You bend over him, searching for any sign of life, but there is no pulse, no breath. And then, as your eyes become accustomed to the gloom, you notice something that fills your very soul with horror, for the Count looks as his youth has been restored. Okay. And I add 2 to my terror score. Dang it. Okay, my terror score is so high I gotta switch characters. There is a mocking smile on the Count's bloated face. This is the being you are helping to transfer to London. Or perhaps for centuries to come, he might, amongst its teeming millions, satiate his blood. Okay, your realization drives you to the edge of madness, but it is quickly followed. Put a halt to the... If you want to kill the Count as he lies deathless state, yes, stab him with the sword. Do it. Kill the vampire. There's no weapon to hand. What do you mean there's no weapon to hand? I have my sword. Oh, that's dumb. That's dumb. No. Come on. I can't use the sword? Seize one of your shovels. The Sisgani have been using to fill the boxes, lifting it high, preparing to strike the Count's... I have to pass a terror test. Okay, no, I'm going to fail this. No, this is BS. If I fail this and die, I'm going back to the previous decision where I just run, because I thought I could stab him with the sword. Okay, take a terror test. Let's roll it up. Yeah, there's no way. Even if I do use the brandy tomfoolery. Okay, if you fail the test, turn to 3, 4, 2. 3, 4, 2. This kills me, right? Surely this kills me. No. A feeling of dread and impending doom. Your courage is spent. You ascend to the Count's room and leave again by the window, crawling back up to the castle wall, remaining in the room. You throw yourself panting on the bed. Add 1 to your terror score. Oh my goodness. Okay. Slowly you become aware of Jispy's song sung by merry voices coming from far off. Sisgani have returned. Turn to 607. Okay. 607. I think hitting him would have removed a blood point or something. There is a sound of many feet tramping. You watch the window. You know that they were not alone, the weird sisters and those devils in the pit. But you swear you will not remain there. Without pausing for even a moment, you ease yourself out of your bedroom window. For even death is more desirable than the fate. Okay, so I gotta escape the castle. Take an endurance test. Okay, my endurance is 24, so I think I just have to roll equal to or less than my endurance. which I think it's literally impossible for me not to have passed that test because I've only been healing. Yeah, for endurance, you want to roll equal to or less. For terror, you got to roll equal to or higher. Okay, if you pass, turn to 442. And I do. 442. Okay, 442. Come on, let's go. 442. 442. As you negotiate the broken battlements of the ancient stronghold, the walled court lies before you, but between you and its great heft in the rock, which in case you need it, you have no choice but to jump for it. Take an agility test. This is definitely going to kill me if I fail. Fortunately, my agility is 9. So let's not die. And I'm dead. I'm dead. There's no way. If you fail the test, turn to 473. 473. No. You throw yourself across the grap, but you're not enough of an athlete. You miss the court where I dwell and drop like a stone onto the shadows below. Falling for several seconds feels like eternity. Roll 1 die and add 1. Okay, I'm going to roll and add... Oh, that's 6 damage. Oof. So that's 18? Wait, actually, let me just make sure I'm doing it right. Roll a die and add 1. Deduct that many endurance points. Okay, so that's a 6. That gets me to 18. Not so bad. If you're still alive, turn to 627. See, that's good. Where it's like, I don't just die. It's like, okay, take damage. And if you have been, How do you wish to proceed from here? If you want to continue the story of Jonathan Harker, turn to 647. If you want to assume the role of Dr. John Seward, turn to 691. My terror is just way too high. I'm going John Seward. 691. Theoretically, I can switch to myself later. Although I haven't used any... Hold on. I haven't used any Pen is Mightier abilities yet. So I actually think this is going to be... Okay, this is going to seem weird. But I actually think I stay as Harker here. And basically, I want to use my pen as... Because I'm kind of decked out here a little bit. So I'm going to continue as Harker. Maybe that's dumb, but, I'm going to be dumb. It is night, a full moon rides high, a guttural noise. You wake in the sound of the church bell tolling. Last thing you remember is escaping from the castle. You're awake. Where am I? St. Joseph and St. Mary in Budapest. Let's go, Sister Agatha. Oh, yeah. Hey, Sister Agatha, I hear you damaged Dracula when he tries to escape or use a fang attack. Your thoughts immediately turn to your beloved Mina. Turn to 13. Okay. I don't recover anything? Huh. Man, I thought for sure I would recover, like, some terror or some hit points or something for going to a literal hospital. But, it's whatever. 13. Okay. Letter... Mina Harker. Wait a minute. Okay, so this is a letter from Mina. Okay, so Mina is telling me about tomfoolery. But it also is a heal. Let's go. That's going to get me to 22. It's in terrible shape. Shock, fear, attacks. He's a sweet old soul. I waited at the bedside. Wilhelmina. I knew that it was... wife, here in the book, take it deep with you. Fell back. Jonathan woke a little after an hour and all was ready. He sat in bed, propped up in a pillow, his chaplain. Okay, all right. He's just basically telling people what happened. Okay, turn to 44. Right. Okay. So Mina is telling people about things. Very good. And we go to 44. In September, before you return to England, but when you set foot on English soil again, this is a married couple. Let's go. No longer Miss Mina Harker. Mina Murray, it's Mina Harker. Yeah, let's go. Marriage. I'm a big fan of marriage, in case you noticed. I got a holy water? Heck yeah. As a wedding gift. Oh, Sister Agatha just gave me holy water. I'm so glad I stuck with Jonathan. I got the antique coins. I got holy water. I am ready to whoop me a Dracula. When you arrive in Essex, you find a carriage waiting for you. And in it, although he has not been well himself, Mr. Hawkins, he takes you to a house. I still don't get any healing. Everyone's very happy. But following modest, Mr. Hawkins stipulates to be buried next to his wife. The surface is very simple. I mean, I got holy water, so that makes me happy. Okay. Turn to 60. Although I do like that my terror is so high because that sort of feels like how Harker would be at this context. His terror would be super high from what he experienced. Okay, so the bat symbol was only for Mina. So I resolved this. Okay, after the funeral, you take a bus to Hyde Corner, and from there you walk to Piccadilly, holding Mina. And you think you see Dracula. Okay. Add 2 points to your terror test score, and then take a terror test. Okay, well, I'm not going to pass this unless I use the power of alcohol. Let's roll. And then I add 2 to it. 18 plus 2 is 20. I actually passed this. Okay. Hey, look at that. In fact, I didn't even need the plus 2. Somehow I still pass it. If you pass the test, turn to 103. If you pass the test, turn to 103. Okay. Man, I've been just rolling really good. Okay. 103. The rejuvenated Count is observing a pretty girl in a big cart. Okay. As you watch the man comes to the shop, Count keeps his eye fixed on her. In that moment, you realize that everything you endured while still the castle really did happen. Okay, that's important to realize. Add 1 to your combat score. Deduct 1 from your terror score. Oh my goodness, what a clutch success. Oh man. Okay, so my combat score is now at 10 of 10. I deduct 1 from my terror score, which is still crazy high. And I deduct 1 blood point, which should put him at 0 blood. So great. And then turn to 218. Okay, 218. So I should be able to start my search for Dracula earlier because I'm like, hey guys, vamps be real. We gotta whack us a Dracus. Okay. I don't get this healing. Oh, well. You head home after the traumatic encounter, but more bad news. Telegram from Van Helsing. You're grieved. Mrs. Westerner died, and Lucy also died. Oh, that sucks. I feel like I'm kind of whooping as Harker, so let's keep going as Harker. So I'm gonna stick with him. Okay, Jonathan Harker's journal. That's a heal. That's a heal. Upon you come home working, and you find Lucy's protracted illness in her turn. Okay. Now that you know that you are not insane, you no longer feel as afraid as you did, not even of the Count. Deduct 1 point from your terror score. All right. I'm getting stronger. And then restore your agility, combat, and endurance to their starting levels. Oh. Well, great. That kind of makes the previous entire sequence of events trivial, except for all of this loot I got. Oh, boy. Following morning, you can call a hotel. Okay, how's Lucy? She did. Let us be friends. Oh, we meet Van Helsing, and we're like, bro! And that's how you are with Van Helsing, because he's such a bro to everybody. Okay. What it does. Then I am with... Does what you do have to deal with the Count? It does. And I'm with you heart and soul. Van Helsing tells you they must return to London, so you can see... Okay, so we return to London. Van Helsing is flicking through the Gazette, and he's like, "Oh, dang it! I shall write to you soon." He whistles. He's shake. Okay, all right. So it's just like we're figuring out. Hey guys, we gotta go vampire hunting. 839. Let's go. 839. Oh, there it was. Go back. And I get another one of these heals that doesn't do me any good. I really think that these heals should just be a 2, or like a 1 or something, because that's just so many healing. Okay. It was only a matter before Professor Van Helsing asking for me to travel to London to meet with Lucy's former suitor, who was also intent on putting an end to the Count's malicious schemes. All right. 50 cases of common earth. Okay, it's a desecrated soil. We gotta take care of that. We have holy water. We should be able to use that, which is basically a heavenly host. I'm holding way too much stuff. I can whoop. 50 cases of common earth. When you see the station master nest returning to London the next day, you arrive at the King's Cross, and from there travel to a place. Ooh, okay. I wish the things that affected the game were always highlighted so that you could see it, because I gotta kind of skim and make sure that I'm not missing something. Information from Mr. Billington. Record the map and skeleton keys. Okay, so I just gained the map and skeleton keys. Okay. That evening, something about the Demeter showing up at Carfax. Tick off the code word. Oh, yeah, code word. I haven't got one of these in a while. Okay. Code word Quinquaginta. Okay. And turn to 592. 592. Let's go. Okay. Wait, 592. Where's 592? There it is. Okay, 2 hours of 6 of Seward. Oh, we have witnessed terrible things. We have Mr. Harker, who has not only survived the horrors encountered with the monster's lair, but have courage to increase our knowledge. And we have Femina, who is very cool. Thanks to Lord Godleman, considerable resources. We will not want for anything in our fight against the foreign invader. Yeah. Be it bullets or train tickets. He kindly said that he will cover all costs, and along with Arthur's generosity, we got Mr. Quincy Morris's courage and redoubtable combat skills with his brave Texans in our midst, and we haven't used Pen is Mightier. Let's go. Then there is our friend Dr. Seward, whose medical knowledge rivals our own, and whose insights we got the League of Light. A former employee of this place, Renfield, they're talking about. But before we do, I must tell you something in kind of enemy we now face. I admit that at first a skeptic. Okay, we're having a meeting. We're doing supply actions. We're drawing events. We're trading. We're doing all that stuff you do to win Fury of Dracula. Okay, he's a vampire Nosferatu. He's not like us. He has the strength of 20 men, so we got to bring 21 men to beat him. But we only have 6? So it's going to be tough. How then are we going to begin our crusade? And to fail here is not merely a matter of life and death. It has become a foul thing. It will be a blot on the face of God's creation. Not on my watch. It is our duty to face him and destroy him. Everyone replies in the affirmative. And now, let us share that we all learnt about the monster we face. Oh my goodness. Okay, this is interesting. So, how many of the following code words do we have? We don't have anthropology. So I think if I had done more side quests, I could have gotten more of these. I don't have this one. 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 I don't have... Oh, dear. I don't have this one. 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 I do... Okay, one... I have one Scientia. Uh-oh. Strigo. Did I get that one? To prick. I have to prick 2. 3. Oh, come on. Only 3? Oh, I was really hoping I could at least have gotten 4. Babona is not on here. Okay. Do I just lose? Do we just lose because we don't have any information about him? That would be a little funny if I just up and lose. Disappointingly, as a group, you have not actually learned that much and seen to have more questions than answers according to the Fiend's plan. He gets 4 points. Dang it. Okay. Turn to 978. 978. So that is punishing me for not jumping on side quests, which I like. I like that that is a thing, as a mechanic. That's good game design. Okay. Come on. Get us to 978. Okay. When everyone has had a chance to speak, Arthur rises and is like, Professor, you mentioned that the monster has grown cunning through the ages. The vampire cannot die. He may enter anywhere. He's talking about the limiting of him, holy artifacts and stuff. If we can find where the monster is hiding, we can continue. We got to destroy his coffins, his 50 crates of soil. I asked my friend Arminius of Budapest University to find out an answer, and even though he's no common man... okay, alright, fine. And now, we must decide on a course of action. Picking up the chronological account comprises 3 diaries. Seems to me that our first step should be to ascertain whether they remain in the grounds of Carfax. Okay, so I'm taking an ESP test here, which is basically testing to see if I can figure out where the heck he is. So we are going to roll ESP. And that's a success, because I rolled equal to or less than my ESP. If you pass the test, 408, because I am a good businessman who manages paperwork and can figure out things. Professor Van Helsing's words fade in the background as your subconscious seeks to tell you something, and you find your attention wandering to the window. The curtains have not yet been drawn, and you see something there, a dark shape scratching in the glass. There's something in the window, you cry, interrupting the professor. Quincy Morris jumps out, does a backflip, quick draws 2 revolvers, shoots them into the air for no reason, and rushes out of the room while Arthur flies to the window and throws up the sash. Why he had eaten the sash, I don't know, but you eat one of those sashes, you're going to throw that thing up. From outside the house comes the sound of a pistol shot, and then more pistol shots. And then he pulls a RPG launcher from his shoulder and does a 360 no-scope and takes out the bat. It was a bat, and a big brute, too. Did you hit it? I don't know, comes Quincy's reply. I should have used more RPGs, but I fancy not. It flew away into the wood. Deduct 1 blood point. Oh, I think we're at 0 blood point. No, I'm at 4. Okay. Deduct 1 blood point. Let's go. I think the number of blood points is like the number of times I have to fight him or something. 427. 427. And we go. Okay, there's no time to lose, urged the professor. We must follow those boxes, and if we encounter our enemy, we must kill this monster in his lair. If he eludes us, we must nonetheless sterilize the earth that they came from. If you wish to continue the story as Jonathan Harker, I mean, how am I going to not? Jonathan Harker is just too cool. Yeah. Jonathan, let's go. Time to whoop names and take ass. And I'm all out of names. Wait. Don't think about that too much. Come on. I need to go to section 4. Come on. Come on. I know you're trying to load this entire big old document. Oh, I flew too close to the sun. Okay, hold on. Come on. Keep scrolling. Keep scrolling. Here we go. Okay, and now for you, Madamina, Van Helsing says, turning to your wife. This marks the end of your part in the proceedings. Until all is well, you are too precious to risk taking with us. Yes. Men are unable to bear what must happen this night, but you must remain our star and our hope, and we shall all act... Okay, you feel greatly relieved upon hearing the professor's pronouncement, even though Mina appears less happy with the situation. I don't know if that's true in the... Well, I'll have to read that part in the book. I don't know if that's entirely true. Okay, so we go to the asylum. 159. 159. Okay, we go. 159. Come on. 159. There it is. Under the cover of darkness, the 5 of you leave the Carfax Asylum, and we head to Carfax House, each armed with a revolver and a large knife. Whoa. Okay, record the revolver and large knife and the electric lamp. Okay, so I'm pretty sure my sword is better than what this is. So I have revolver, large knife, and electric lamp. Okay, in the equipment box. All right. Taking care to keep your shadows cast. Is there like a limit to how much equipment I can carry? I know that I can carry only 1-bladed weapon. Equipment. During the course of your quest, you will no doubt come across all manner of curious items that you will want to pick up and take with you. Anything that you do collect should be recorded in your adventure sheet, including weapons and other miscellaneous and unusual items. Okay, all right. Yeah, no limit. I mean, I can carry only 1-bladed weapon, it said. And I think I can only carry 1 ranged weapon? Taking care to keep to the shadows cast by the trees that grow close to the wall. You discuss where to look for the boxes of earth. What do you suggest? To search the grounds first, or head to the house straight away? This is an interesting choice. Let's check the grounds first, because I'm afraid we're going to get ambushed by rats. And I don't want to be in there when the rats happen. So let's just make sure that our egress is safe before we go barging in. You know, we want to make a perimeter. Van Helsing agrees that it might be wise not to assume that the boxes have been stored in the house, and so the five of you split up to search the grounds, each of you promising to give a whistle if you find anything. Okay. Looking up there, silhouette against we see a dozen of leathery winged bats. Oh no, they're playing bats on us! Dang you, Dracula! You managed to remember to give a shrill whistle. I don't want to use pen is mightier than the sword. I feel way overconfident. If not, turn to 104. I'm turning to 104, my good sore. Okay. Seriously? 6? Bro, you do not understand how dead you are. Fumbling about with your knife, you defend yourself against the shrieking bats. In this battle, you have the initiative. There wasn't anything that made me drop my dragon sword, was it? I don't think so. It would have said, discard the dragon sword. Okay. If you manage to reduce the cauldron's endurance to 0, the surviving bats break from the flame. Okay, so we're gonna fight this thing. I have the initiative, so I'm gonna be at +3, and I'm at 10, so I'm at 13, and it's at. So I'm at a +7 here. So it rolls and gets a 9. I roll and get a 9 + 7. So I win that round. I do 2 damage to it. So I've done 2 damage. And then it rolls and gets a 5. And I roll and get a 10. So I beat it again. So that's 4 damage. It's half dead. And so... Oh, and before this even happened, I got to get a free shot at it with my gun. Yeah, let me do that. Okay, so the way guns work. Hold on, I need to... if you have a revolver or rifle, if you find yourself in a battle, you have the initiative, and you have the initiative, which I do. In the opening round of combat, you may choose to fire your gun before engaging in hand-to-hand. Take a combat test. If you pass the test, you cause your opponent 3. Okay, so I'm going to take... Wait, I take a combat test, not a skill test? Take a combat test. So I got to roll... So technically I'm not in the battle. This is prior to the battle, so I don't think my sword helps me. It'd be very dumb if my sword helped me shoot. Wielding the blade in battle. I'm going to say I'm not wielding the blade in battle, technically. So I'm going to roll a combat test. And I roll a 5, which means if you pass, inflict 3 damage, so that gets him to 7 damage. If you fail the test, you've wasted your shot. If you hit your opponent, you can take a second shot, but no more. So I get to take a second shot, but no more. As long as I roll a 10 or lower. Yeah, okay, he's dead. Bats get shot all to heck and stabbed and sliced, and I'm like shooting with my revolver and swinging with my sword and doing backflips and cartwheels and taunting the bats and talking about how, like, bat-esque crazy they are. But I don't actually say it because I'm like a moral, not sweary guy. Okay. The bats fly off towards the shadowy silhouette of Carfax's house, and you can't help wondering, they're going to report back on your presence. Gain 2 blood points. Dang it. Really? That stinks. It is then that the others arrive, summoned by your whistle. With no one having found any sign of the boxes having been stored anywhere else within the grounds, you all hasten to the house. Okay, go to 47. So that was a mistake. I should have just gone to the house, like they did in the book. Well, that's kind of dumb. Okay, 47. Come on. Okay, when you get to the porch, the professor opens the bag and takes out all manner of items. All right, guys, got to kill us some vampires. At this point in the sacred wafer, oh my goodness, during the Holy Eucharist. Oh my goodness. Okay, all right. Okay, so I just add the silver crucifix, garlic garland, sacred wafer. That's too much. I have too much good items now. And now we must ingress into the house. If you have a set of skeleton keys, which I do, turn to the number stamped on the tag they are attached to. Okay. Hold on. I'm going to have to see what this is. Okay, so 47. I got to remember 47. I'm gonna go ahead and take that down, write that down right now. I have to remember what was on my skeleton keys. I think it was 15, but I'm not sure. Skeleton keys. Was this it? Jonathan Harker's journal? This seems right. I did get this code word. So I think it's 145, but let me just be sure. I didn't do that. I didn't do that. So I go to 145. Okay, so we go to... Well, actually, let's just make sure we go. So it's 145 is actually what it was. And I was at 47. So let's go to 47, and it's supposed to be 145. 145, 145. I'm going to remember 145. If you have a tag, okay, so I go to 145. And okay, you try the skeleton keys one after another until you find one that fits. After a little play back and forth, the bolt yields and shoots. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and write down, these are skeleton keys 145. Ancient creaking, the door slowly opens. 301. Let's hope the police don't show up. Otherwise, I think the other option is for us to try to get the police to help us. Man, I haven't done a lot of, like, agility tests. The professor is the first to step forward and enter the house. In Manus Tus Domini, he suffers. Okay, go over the threshold. On the table, you find a great bunch of keys and stuff. If you have a map of Carfax House, I do, multiply the number of rooms in the house. Bro, you gotta tell me these things are important. By 15 and turn to that section, which is the same as the final total. Oh my gosh. Map. Where was it? Okay. Tag bearing 1... Okay. Shows 30 rooms. 30 rooms. Okay, so 145. 145. The map is of 30 rooms. Okay. All right, and then we go to 301. 301. 301. 301. Okay, the professor. Okay, and then, all right. If you have a map of Carfax House, which I do, multiply the number of rooms, 30, in the house by 15. So that's going to be 300 plus 150. So that's going to be 450? Did I do the math on that right? Let's find out. If I lose because I did the math wrong, how fortunate it is to us, Mr. Hart, that you have copied those plans of the house, says Van Helsing. As you unfold the map, you made the mansion. Now, which is the way to the chapel? You lead the way. Soon find yourself opposite a low, arched oaken door, ridden with iron bands. Go to 606. 606. Okay. This is the spot. Okay, you're some unpleasantness. You believe it to be, and then there's a foul odor, acrid to the blood. Take an endurance test. I think it's literally impossible for me to lose this, but let's give it a shot. Maybe I'll find a way. Nope, I succeed. If you pass the test, turn to 644. 644. Yeah, there's just too much healing. I have extra healing anyway. Okay, in any other circumstance, such a stench would bring your enterprise to an end at once, but this is no ordinary situation. After an involuntary drawing back of the nauseous whiff, every member of your party presses on to the chapel. Go to 707. Okay. 707. Let's go. 707. Come on. 707. There we go. Inside the chapel, resting upon the packed earth floor, dozens of bulky things. Well, okay. Coffins. We got it. I'm taking an ESP test. Okay, let's see how good my ESP... My ESP is not actually super great. That's a fail. That is a fail of my ESP test. Okay. If you fail the test, turn to 564. 564. Okay, let's do that. Whoa. 564. Probably going to take... Uh-oh, terror test. I may be dead. And now your friends, the professor addresses you. We have a duty to do. We must sterilize the earth that was brought from the far distant land for its... Okay, using your knife, you pry open the crate and immediately recoil in horror as you see dead fingers in the molded pen of the half-dead buried dead people inside this dead place. Before your very eyes, a hand emerges, half rotten away in skin, like an old letter. It is stretched over the bone of the rib cage. Take a terror test. Oh, boy. Okay, this is not good. My terror is 16, though, so it's not unbeatable. Hey, look at that. I passed the terror test. Great. If you pass the test, turn to 780. 780. I wonder if that was 2 chances for me to just up and lose. Okay. In Dracula's native Transylvania, they are called strigoi, restless souls that rise from the grid. A maggot-eaten black tongue darts from between ragged lips, and a living horror. Add 1 to your terror score. Okay. You're only dimly aware of its venomous hiss, as is underscored by the horrified cries of your companions as other corpses start to break free from the wooden prisons. If you want to use pen as mightier special ability, you still can. I am, just because I have a bajillion of these, and so I feel like I should. I'm going to turn to 867. 867. 867. Okay, I'm using Divine Intervention here. So I've used 1 of 3. Cross off 1 use of Pen is Mightier. Suddenly the Texan is by your side. And you start as he discharges his Smith & Wesson right next to your ear. The air is filled with pink mist and flying bone fragments as the corpse fall to the ground, missing its head. Oh, yeah. 914. Okay. The chapel is suddenly awash with noise and desperate cries of your compatriots. The crack of pistol shots and the tearing of wood echoed from its vaulted... Okay. Break free of the confinement to attack your fellow vampire hunters. You throw yourself into the fray in an effort to aid them in the hour of need. You need to work out how many of the unleashed strigoi you and your companions managed to destroy. Take an agility test, a combat test, an endurance test, an ESP test, and a terror test. Then roll 1 die. You may also choose to spend 1 use of Penny's Mightier special ability. Having done all these things, consult the list below and see how many points you have scored. The number rolled is even. Okay, if you have the... What are my keywords? I don't have strigoi. And I don't... So these 2 aren't going to affect. Okay, this is interesting. Okay, so we do 1 of each type of test. So an agility test. Okay, so that's a 1, because I passed that. Then we do a combat test. Wait, my agility is 9. Okay, yeah. Then we do a combat test. Oh, my goodness. You kidding me? You kidding me? Okay, I failed the combat test. Endurance test. I have to pass this. Right, okay, so that's 2... Oh, no, 3. I got 3 for the endurance test. ESP test. And that's a pass, so that's 4. I passed the ESP test. Then we do a terror test. Terror test. No, I did not pass the terror test. Okay. Then we roll a single number. And it is even. If the roll is even, which it is, a +1. And then I can use a Pen is Mightier here. How much do I have? 5 feels pretty good. And I do have this cool sword. So I'm going to stick with 5 and go to 937. 937. So I have 5. Okay. The number of points you have scored is the total number of strigoi that have already been dealt with. One way or another, by your brave band, deduct this total from 20, which is 15, then divide the remaining number by 4, rounding fractions up. So 15. So 4, 8, 12. 4, 8, 12. And then it doesn't go to 50, so that's 3. And then we round that last fraction up, so 4 is the number. Each of them is the following okay, so I'm fighting 4 strigoi. Each of them is the following stats. And I can't use Pen is Mightier here, because technically I could have sort of used it in the previous one. Okay, so there are 4 strigoi I have to fight. They're a combat of 6, and I have initiative. Okay, excellent. So there's 4, which basically counteracts my sword. My sword gives me +2. The fact that I'm fighting 4 of these guys makes it -2. So I basically need to get 3 hits on them. So I have a 10. They have a 6. So I have a +4, but it's actually a +5 the first time. So rolling for them, they get an 11. Ooh. And then me at +5, they hit me. And I take 2 points of damage. Okay, and that means I'm now only at +4 because now they have initiative. No, it's worse than that. It's worse than that. I'm doing the math wrong. It's actually, instead of me getting a +1, they get a +1. So that's actually a swing of 2. So they're now at a 7, and I'm at a 10. So I only get +3. Okay, so I get +3 here. So I'm rolling for them. I get a 5. I'm rolling for me at +3. Like I said, okay, so I hit them once, which does 2 damage. So they have 2 damage. I got to hit them 2 more times. But now I have the +1, so now I'm at +5. So rolling for them, they get a 5. Right, so that instead of them getting a +1, I get a +1. Right, because they get 6, I get 4. So that's another win. I get 2 more hits. Okay, so I still have the +1. Meaning that I have the, because 10 minus 6 is 4, 4 plus 1 is 5. Rolling for them, they get an 11. Ugh, rolling for me at +5. Yeah, okay. With my bonuses, I defeat them. I managed to put down all of the undead. I turned to 9, 6, 7. Okay, so I took a little bit of damage, but not a bad time. 9, 6, 7. 9, 6, 7. Because of my sword, which maybe I should have discarded, but it didn't tell me to. And it is in his picture. The destruction of the last living corpse, it seems as if some evil presence has quit the place, and you feel your spirits rise as the shadow of dread slips from you like a robe. Deduct 1 terror point. Nice. Okay. Now we understand the Count's plan. He seeks to conquer the Fair Isle and has brought an army to England to accomplish his goal. You exchange a horrified look with your companions. But come, we must finish our work here to ensure that Dracula is never resurrects his Strigoi to fight for him. Taking a tinderbox and match from the bag. You got to use the holy stuff. They burn. Okay, maybe that was done in a different part that I didn't read. You quit Carfax House. The morning is quickening in the east, and you emerge from the shadow entrance hall. Your night has been eminently successful, Van Helsing declares, smiling. Our first and perhaps our most difficult and dangerous step has been accomplished without troubling Madame Mina, waking or sleeping through this sight. 21 have been removed from Carfax House. Our priority now must be to find those remaining boxes and to cleanse them all. I'm going to make a note that I'm just going to say 21 cleansed, because I think I might need to make a note of that. 21 boxes have been moved. Okay, our priority now must be find remaining boxes and okay, now turn to 20. Now I think we find out that Mina has been bit. Or maybe not. Maybe I'm being a pessimist. Okay, we gotta go to 20. Bow, bow. Come on. Ooh, interesting. Ooh, I got pretty close. All right. Sing it with me now. Keep scrolling, 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 scrolling. Keep scrolling, 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 scrolling. Keep scrolling, 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 scrolling. Okay. 20. So if I was Seward right now, I would read a different section, but I'm not. I'm Harker. So Your asylum is silent when your party returns, save for some poor creature. Settle down to soda is only an expected overleap. Having breakfast. You leave for your wife and Dr. Seward's safe keeping. You know that 50 boxes of earth were received. The vital clue resolved the mystery of Jack Smollett upon... Jack Smollett? From, like, Treasure Island? Upon arriving in London, you make your way first to Mr. Snelling's house. You return to Purefleet later that evening, much to your wife's delight. After dinner... Okay. Alright. Yeah. I think all of this is... Okay. Come quickly, Doctor, he says breathlessly, having run... It's Renfield. He's been involved in some kind of accident. 676. Okay. 676. To 676 we go. Renfield is lying in a cell. I think his back is broken. See, both his right arm and leg. Okay. Alright. That's not fun. A terrible dream has left me weak. Tries to go... Tell us your daydream. Give me some water, and I'll tell you. Quincy hurries off, but soon returns with a glass and a decanter of brandy. Quick, Doctor, quick, I feel like I'm dying. Okay, can you tell us anything useful, or maybe not die? Either one of those are good things to do. Wanted it along. Sense flies. Right. Rats, hundreds, thousands. Red Cloud, he's ranting, he's saying all sorts of stuff. He was Lord Master, evil, whatever, blood. Okay, come on. Can we get to the gameplay, please? With a wrench, he throws his victim onto the bed and springs at you. Okay, I feel like I skipped something important. The scene that greets you appeal... Okay. Glad you have grown into the habit of carrying your knife and revolver with you at all times. You run into Renfield's cell after Van Helsing takes the stairs the first 2 floors. But we know the worst now, he says, Van Helsing, turning to rescue all. He is here. Oh. Okay, well, you could have just said that. Scarling death rattle. So he dies, and he says, Dracula's here. Beware. Okay, so you burst into the room, and Dracula is attacking Mina. In the moonlight streaming through the window, you see the white clad figure of Mina kneeling on the edge of the bed. And basically, we're having SA going on right here. It's the Count. Okay, well, time to count him out. Prepare to get got. Take an agility test. Yes, please. Take that agility test. Let's go. Yep. Agility 9. Easily pass. With a wrench, he throws his victim onto the bed and springs at you. Okay, take the agility test. That's right. In the book, he passes this test, and I cut him with my knife. He passed the test, turned to 724. 724. Let's go. You throw yourself out of the Count's path as he lands with a snarl in the midst of your party. Okay. 790. 790. I wonder if we can just, like, kill him here. That'd be fun. Okay, so we're not Swords. Now, the Professor is suddenly there in front of the Count, the sacred wafer in his hand, which he holds out towards the monster. The Count backs up. The moonlight suddenly fails. A great black cloud sails across the sky when the gaslight under Quincy's match. A moment later, you see nothing but a faint vapor. I used his escape as mist. Dang it. You rush forward to help Mina, but suddenly gives a scream so wild and piercing. Ghastly paler, from her throat trickles the stream of blood. Are we too late? Wafer touches the skin. It's like white hot metal. Unclean. I am almighty is polluted. Shuns my polluted flesh. I must bear this bark until judgment day. Falling to the floor, her consumed impotent grief. You put your arms around her and hold her tight for a few minutes. Oh, you're not going to have the part where Van Helsing does the whole, like, hey, at the end of the time, we're all going to be redeemed, and it is not God's will for you to be... Van Helsing basically shares the gospel after that. You cut that? Ow. Poo on you. Add 2 points to your terror score. Add 2 points to your terror score for having the Christian part cut from this game. And gain 6 blood points. Ew. Okay, what did that put him at? Oh, dear. That's a lot of blood. Add 2 points to your terror score and gain 6 blood points, then turn to 693. Okay, 693. Okay, I think maybe blood is like just like his hit points. That would make sense. Okay, it may be that you may have to bear that mark till God... Oh, here we go. It may be that you have to bear that mark till God himself sees fit to redress all wrongs on the earth and of his children, Van Helsing says. And oh, Madam Mita, my dear, we who love you, when that red scar passes away and leaves your forehead as pure as the heart we know. Till then, we must bear our cross, as his son did in obedience to his will. It may be that we are chosen instruments of his good pleasure. Okay, never mind. They didn't cut all the Christian stuff out. That's good. Do I get my terror points back? No. Dang it. Well, that's what I get for doubting the writer. Um, and that we ascend to his bidding through tears and blood, through doubts and fears, and all that makes the difference between God and man. It may be that we are chosen instruments of his good pleasure. If you wish to continue the story with Jonathan Harker, turn to 24. You can. No. I'm sticking with Jonathan Harker. I have this cool sword. How am I going to not be Jonathan Harker when I have this cool sword? There's got to be. I almost want to read through the thing again. It's like, am I not supposed to have the sword? Or is the sword just good and it's like you're supposed to keep it? 24. Come on. All right. Apparently there's a lot of things that take me back to 24. So I think I need to go up from here. Come on. 24. There it is. Okay. There's no time to lose, and your situation has become even more desperate as long as you take... Okay, all right. Great. Poor Lucy fell prey. Fortunately, you are sure you know where the remaining 21 boxes have been taken. 21? I've only gotten rid of 21. Aren't there... I thought there were 50. Math. To a very property held in account. Piccadilly, Mill End, 84. 84, yeah, just like in Dracula in London. Okay, let's go to 84. Come on, 84. I think the house in Piccadilly is the key. Okay, I will visit Mile End, says Quincy. Then it is decided, says the professor. We will split up. Oh gosh, between us we ensure that we find... Fiend has nowhere left to hide on English shores. He turns to you. I would appreciate your help at the house in Piccadilly, he says. Will you accompany me there? Okay, so... I mean, here's the thing. Generally, if Van Helsing is like, hey, cut me out, go with Van Helsing. But I have the option to go with Quincy Morris. And so, like, how do I not do that? It's the closest I can get to playing as Quincy Morris. I'm going to go to Quincy Morris, with Quincy Morris, to Quincy Morris. And so in the end, you will join Quincy Morris in visiting the property at Mill's End, while the rest of the vampire hunters will head to Walsworth. Apart from Van Helsing, will go to Piccadilly. The address in the former printer's office being located on the first floor. Indeed, there's more dirt. But it looks like something has done the work for you. Something has chewed its way through the planks and clods mounting the clay. You cannot believe that the vermin were so large that they now, when they begin feeding on the Transylvanian corpses, each one is big enough to swallow an infant whole. Oh, no. Add 1 to my terror score. Well, I Quincy Morrised too close to the sun. If your blood score is equal to or greater than 8, turn to 502. It is, unfortunately... 502. Am I going to die because I wanted to play as Quincy Morris? Dagnabbit, I just want to play as Quincy Morris in a game. There are 8 of these rats. Oh boy. Hearing your approach with the sharp ears, pick to your scent. If you want to use Penance Mighty or special ability, and you still can, I'm going to not. I'm full health. I think I got some healing left in me. I'm going to turn... You still can turn to 562. If not, turn to 588. I think I can rely on my cool sword. I'm going to save that for, like, vampires and stuff. Okay, 4 giant rats. The rodents are unnatural. The rats have initiative in this battle, and you must fight the 4 that are coming for you 2 at a time. Two at a time. What? So does that mean I have to do 1 set of combats against the first and second, and then 1 set of combat against the third and fourth? Because that's way easier than if I fight all 4 of these at once. Can only be sated now by human flesh. The rats have initiative in this battle, and you must fight the 4 that are coming for you 2 at a time. So I think that just means that normally you fight things 2 at a time, and that's why for every 2 you get a -1. So I'm assuming in this fight I get a -2, which cancels out my sword, meaning that I'm at 10 and they're at like a lot. So I just need to do 3 successful hits against them. So I'm going to roll for them. They get a 5. really should roll for me first. So that's going to be 10 and 11. And then I roll for me. And that's a 9 plus 10. That's 19. That's way higher than anything they got. Oh, but there was 10 and 11, so it's actually 11 and 12. But a 9 plus 10 is a 19. That beats all of it. So that is it down. So I need to get it 2 more times. Now I have the initiative, so I'm at a plus 11, and they're at like plus 5 and 6. So I'm going to roll for me now at plus 11. So that's 21, and then I'm going to roll for them, and that's a 9. 9 plus 5 is 14. 9 plus 6 is 15. So that's another hit. So these two are down to 1. These two are down to 2. I'm going to roll for me. Ooh, that's a 4. Plus 11 is 15. So they might get a hit on me here. Let's roll for them and see. Yeah, that's going to be a, 10 plus 5 is 50. Okay, so... Wait, how does this work? Because I'm supposed to fight all of them at once. So these two tie and these two hit me. I thought I fight all of them at once. What is the whole, like, having multiple combat ratings? Do I add their combat together? How does combat work? Also, I forgot to use my gun. I'm going to retroactively use my gun. Fighting more than one opponent. For every 2 opponents you have to fight simultaneously, deduct 1. As long as you have a higher rating than an opponent, you will injure them, no matter how many opponents you are taking on at the same time. Equally, an opponent with a combat rating higher than yours will be able to injure you too. As long as you have a higher rating than your opponent, you will injure them. So am I supposed to take damage times the number of enemies? Except that you will have to work out the combat rating of all those involved. Oh, so I do it that way. So I tie the 2 giant rats, and then these 2 hit me. So I actually take 4 damage. Oh, boy. So that gets me to 18, and then these 2 are ties. So I need to roll 1 for each to see what happens. I rolled a 6 and a 1. So I got an even and an uneven. And I think that's one of them deflects and one of them I take a hit. Combat rating is the same. Roll a die. If it's odd, you and your opponent deflect and go to step 10. If it's even, we go to 9, which means we both take a wound, and we take 1 wound. So I take 1 wound from that. That gets me to 17. And one of the rats technically dies, which puts it at 3, which I think means I'm only at -1 now. But I'm going to go ahead and roll my pistol attack, which I should have done at the beginning, which is to test combat. And I pass, which does 3 damage to him, and then I roll it again and I pass again. If you acquire a revolver during the test... Wait, I had initiative, right? Didn't I? Or did they have initiative? Oh, no, the rats have initiative. Okay, so I couldn't have used the gun. So, one of the rats is dead. This rat is at 1 HP, and these 2 rats are at 2 HP. So I'm now only at -1, which means I actually get a +1 from my sword. And I think they have initiative. So let's roll for them. And we'll just add their stuff plus initiative. So that's a 9. So it's a 10. So we got a 15 and 2 16s. A 15 and 2 16s. And then I roll for me. And 9 plus 10 is a 19. I win all of that. So they're all dead. Okay, so they're all dead now. I took quite a decent amount of damage there. And now we go to 6, 5, 8. I think I did that right. 6, 5, 8. Okay. We go to 6, 5, 8. Isn't it fun watching me play an RPG and you guys have no input? What fun this is for me. The sharp crack of the pistol shots echo through the warehouse, and there's nothing in silence but return. The rats are dead. Leaving the property, intending to come out back again once the nightmare is over, you clean up after yourselves properly. You head back to the main thoroughfare, hoping to meet with the others at Piccadilly. If you were injured 2 or more times during the battle with the giant rats, was I injured 2 or more times? What counts as being injured? That means losing a combat round, right? I think I only lost 1 combat round. So I was not injured 2 or more times during the battle with the giant rats. But if you count it as individual instances of damage from rats, then yes, I would have been. But then, of course, I would have been. Let me read the ruling on when you lose a combat round. When you lose a combat round, how does it describe it? If your opponent's endurance score has been reduced to 0 below, you have 1. Roll a die. The number rolled is okay. If your opponent's combat rating is higher, you have been wounded. Their roll was higher once, so it says injured, but I think it means wounded. If your combat rating, if your combat rating is higher, then you have wounded your enemy. I think I was only wounded once. With the giant rats. If you were injured once, or even not at all, yeah, I was injured once, so I'm going to 876. I bet I get like the plague or something. I was only injured once. I only failed 1 roll. It's gonna take. Okay, back in the main thoroughfare, you catch a cab and set off for Piccadilly. As it turns out, your destination is a silently sinister abandoned building. Door knocker, you rest. 6 boxes at the Worth property, you say. Lord Godalming confirms. And another 6 at Mill's End. The professor goes on looking at Quincy Morris, who nods in agreement. And 8 boxes of Earth here. I'm no good at math. When the sinking feeling in the pit of your stomach, you already know what he is about to say, which means there's still 1 unaccounted for. But where can it be? Why don't we take an ASP test and find out? Are we good at ASP? We are, apparently. If you pass the test, turn to 794. 794. Man, Jonathan Harker is really good. I wish you could play as him in the Fury of Dracula board game. That would be neat. Inexplicably, you sense that the 5 of you have company in the house. Someone or something else is here. You take a step back from the door to the hall the moment before it flies open and something as black and as lithe as a panther bounds into your room. Uh-oh. It's a great wolf. It's going to try to do 4 damage to us. Hopefully we have a heavenly host or a crucifix. 648. 648. Come on. Okay. There's something so inhuman about the figure's movements that it sobers you before any of you can catch a glimpse to stop the lashes out, sending Arthur and Quincy flying in opposite quarters of the room before they can even draw their weapons, and sweeps the vampire hunters aside with a lightning-fast attack that leaves them all reeling until you are the last man standing. The Count is suddenly there before you. Oh no. And a snarl passes over his face, revealing pointed, elongated teeth. For all his veneer of noble breathing, you see him for what he really is, a bestial monster that lives only to hunt and steal the lives of others. Yeah, I'm glad he understands that. Take a terror test. Ooh. Okay, well, that's... fail a terror test. Let's see how much I fail this by. Yep, that's a fail. Okay. If you fail the test, turn to 746. 746. 746. The Count's expression transformed into a cold stare, a lion-like disdain. And from the look on his blood gaze, you know the vampires are no more than prey, the mouse to his cat. It is pointless to resist him. Nah, that's quitter talk. Very deep down, your disdain inner voice is calling out to you, telling you that you must pass this combat test. Uh-oh, he's trying to hypnotize me. Come on, play punch. Or crucifix, or all the things you have. Take a combat test. Okay, I think if I fail this, I lose. Let's see what we got. 9. And my combat is 10. Let's go! If you pass the test, turn to 706. 706. If you pass the test, turn to 706. I do that. Where is 706? Is this 706? Is it hidden? Did they forget to do it? Is the game broken? I think this is supposed to be 706. And here it is. You realize that you have subconsciously taken a hold of your silver crucifix. It is as if a mighty power is creeping along your arm, a power against which the vampire has no resistance. And that knowledge gives you the strength to break the Count's hypnotic hold over. Yeah, play crucifix. Deal 3 damage. Does that hurt him? Heck yes, it does. Snarling like a caged beast, his face twists into a demonic visage. Dracula attacks. I feel like if there was ever a time to use the pen is mightier, it's when Dracula attacks. So I will. 657. I'm using pen is mightier. Suddenly, Professor Van Helsing is at your side, crucifix in hand, and he chants Aqua Dei que tolli pecca mundi, dona es requiem. It is as if even just the sight of the crucifix and the sound of the holy Latin words cause the vampire pain, and he recoils physically, hissing and spitting like a wildcat. Cross off one use of Penny is Mightier and turn to 587. Okay. 587. You know, in the book, it causes a blast of energy that knocks him against the wall. It's literally like you're going Hadouken with a crucifix. They cut the Hadouken part from most of the adaptations. Okay, recovering themselves, your fellow vampire hunters rally and advance on the Count, crucifixes and wafers held out before them. While Van Helsing intones the words in the exorcism, the Count's face twists into an expression of baffled hatred and hellish rage as he cowers before the sacred symbols. His waxy skin acquires a vile, jaundiced hue. The next instant, with a sinuous dive, he flies across the room and throws himself through an unshuttered window amidst the crash. Okay, yeah, I remember this part in the book. Now, You think you can confound my plans? You shall be sorry, each of you. You think you've left me without a place to rest, but I have more. My revenge has just begun. It is a plan I have devised over centuries, and time is on my side. Your girls that you all love are mine already, and through them, you and others shall become my creatures yet, to do my bidding and be my jackals when I want to feed. And then he escapes as man. Okay, turn to 910. 910. Oh, yeah, it was called Escape as Man in a second. Oh, this is me. Okay. Cross. Add 10 to the section and read that one instead. Okay, so instead of reading 910, we go to 920. All right. 920. Although you all set off in pursuit, you find the stable door is bolted, and by the time you manage to force it open, the Count has fled, leaving no sign of his passing. It is late afternoon and sunset. Okay, it gets away. All right, let's go back to Mina. Catching a reflection. And the blade of your knife, you are shocked into inaction. Yesterday, you could have considered yourself a generally happy-looking man with a strong and youthful face, as if you're looking into the face of your father, and you've acquired an appearance of an old, haggard old man. What? Why? Add 1 to your terror score. Oh, boy. And deduct 1 point from your agility score and 1 point from your combat score. Oh, no. 8 of 9. 9 of 10. So is that because I'm playing the character too much? You're nerfing him? With a sad heart, your party returns to Carfax, where you find Mina waiting for you with an appearance of cheerfulness. For a second, she closes her eyes. Secret player kisses you, whispers in tears. Poor darling. 951. Okay. 951. All right. Come on, let's finish this. Okay. Mina awakens the next morning. Go call the professor. I want to see him at once. Okay, so we're doing the whole hypnosis thing to locate him. All right. Very good. Dr. Stewart. 689. 689. Let's go. 689. Come on. Come on. 689. 689. Oh, I was going the wrong way. I was dyslexic for. Oh, my dear Madamina is rubbing his. Okay, so you want to do hypnosis? Yes, let's do it. What else did you hear? We heard boats and stuff, and we get information. Okay, turn to 718. So we play hypnosis, and we know. Okay, he's going. Time to play Rufus Smith to find out where he is, which is what Rufus Smith did in the book. There's not a moment to lose, for it may not be too late to thwart his plans. That ship, wherever it was, is weighing anchor, and the anchor is weighing way too much. But why do we need to seek him further when he has already gone from us? And Arthur's like, oh, don't be a coward. He can live for centuries. We gotta kill him before Mina dies and becomes a vampire. If you wish to continue the story as Jonathan Harker, let's do it. Jonathan Harker. Actually, I have used 2 uses of Pen is Mightier. Issue is, he has all of the good stuff. But he's basically maxed on terror, and he just kind of got hit with a nerf. So I'm going to switch to Seward. Yeah, I'm going to switch to Seward. 1-6. I'm doing it. I'm making an executive decision. We're switching to Seward. So now we got these stats. Okay, the afternoon, Van Helsing, Lord and Quincy Morris and I set off to find a ship, and now we have more of these Pen is Mightiers to use. I'm sure the Count wishes to return to Transylvania. And soon you begin your search. Sure enough, you discover the Black Sea named things. Yesterday afternoon, 5 o'clock, the man arrives at the wharf. So do I have, like, the crucifix and stuff that was given? Or because it was given to everybody? I hope I don't have to look that up. But I'm going to. I'm at 16 now. I'll look up 16 again. Silver crucifix. Did I spell that wrong? Dang it. With a C. Crucifix. There's a lot of it. Silver crucifix. Silver crucifix. Come on. Where's the part where he hands out the silver crucifixes? Werewolf. I gotta remember the other thing was 16. Your adventure sheet. When he shares out among your brave band. And who's in the brave band? Instead of the professor opens his bag. Who to your heart? He says, giving each member of your party a small crucifix and a wreath of garlic and a sacred wafer. I think this also Seward has, because he was in this group. And it says, it goes to your brave band. So maybe this is cheating, but I think Seward has this as well, because he was also granted it. I don't know if he has a pistol, though. Anyway, let's go to 16. Okay, 16. Come on. Oh, good grief. Okay. All right. Come on, we're almost at the end, guys. I can feel it. I can feel this is. It's supposed to be a long game. 16. Come on, keep rolling. Or scrolling. Scroll. Okay, Seward. I've survived the Count who wishes to Transylvania. The ship that afternoon is this one, and this other one. Following the events, Van Helsing calls another meeting of the vampire hunters in the private study. Okay. So we... It's at sea by now. Okay, so we don't catch him before he leaves. See, that's one thing I liked about Dracula in London, is that there were all of these alternate events that, like, theoretically could have happened in the book. One thing I don't like about this is that it's kind of following the book a little too closely. Like, in Dracula in London, you could, like, keep Renfield from dying and all this stuff. Professor Van Helsing begins by recounting that he discovered... Okay, he's going to Black Sea. He's doing a lot of ocean travels. He's going to take a lot of damage, like a mad lad. But will the Count take the rebuff wisely? Since we've driven in from England, your man-eating tiger, once he has tasted human blood, cares not for other prey. Right. And we're going to kill him for the honor and glory of God. Let's go. Turn to 130. 130. I've just read the book so many times, I don't really need to read it again. Okay, so I am actually playing a Seward, which means we add 30 to the section number and read that one instead. So we go to 160. Keep scrolling, 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 scrolling. Keep scrolling, 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 scrolling. 160. Okay. After a general discussion, the six of you determine that your next course of action will not definitely be settled upon until you have all slept the matter. Okay, that's fine. After breakfast, you rise. Deduct 1 from my terror score. My terror score is 0. You rise early. Restore up to 3 endurance points. Well, I'm full health. That's kind of part of the reason I swapped to him, is that he has 0 terror and full endurance. Friend John. The sad expression, Miss Lucy, we must this time be warned before things go too far. Our task is now really more difficult than ever. My greatest fear is this. If she can, by her hypnotic trance... Okay. Oh, come on. More to his blood score? Add 2 points to your blood score. Ooh, this is not good. In this case, we must keep her ignorant of our intent. She cannot divulge that which we do not know. The professor swipes his forehead. And he's sweating. Okay, 185. 185. And, okay, 185. So we don't, if we were Mina, we would advance here. Okay, when the vampire hunters meet again, it is without Mina. Left from Varna, I understand it comes to Wolf Country. Country maybe so I propose that we add Winchesters to armament. Good. Winchesters it is. In the meantime, add a Winchester rifle to your adventure sheet. Let's go. I was wondering if I had a pistol. Now I have a Winchester. Win is in the name. Which I guess reacts the same way as a pistol. Whatever. Tonight and tomorrow we shall be ready. Okay, 227. 227. Combat for him is 9, which is okay. Your party of 6 vampire hunters leaves Charing Cross on the morning and arrive in Paris the same night. Okay, if your blood is 8 or higher, turn to 306. It is. Here we go. 306. Yeah, see, this is what I'm worried about. 2 days after you leave, you're relaxing in your passengers cabin service. As you're rising to see who it is, the door is forced open outside and a young man bursts in. He's wearing an ill-fitting police uniform, wielding a large steak knife. Oh no! They're playing saboteurs on us! Before you die, I want you to know who it is that kills you. And his name is Lord Dracula, he snarls. Who the heck are you? I'm Johnny Alucard? What the heck? And throws himself at you. No, I'll fight. If not, 332. I'll go to 332. Yeah, so because this blood is high, I'm getting these extra encounters, basically. Johnny Alucard, his combat is 8. Okay. His opponent has initiative. Dang it, I only get to use a gun when I have initiative, which I suppose makes sense. It's like I'm being attacked in a train car and I don't have a gun with me. Barely have time to seize your weapon before you would be murderer. And a disciple of Dracula is on top of you. He has initiative. If you're still alive after 4 combat rounds, or if he reduces score... So if I get 2 hits on him... Alright. Okay, so we are going to fight. He has an 8. So it's actually going to be a straight-up roll, the first one. Because he has a +1. So we just roll for him. He gets a 6, and then we roll for us. We get a 7. So we beat him. Now we have initiative. So it knocks him down to 6. Now we have initiative. Which means our combat is 10 and his combat is 8. So we get a +2. Rolling for him. He gets a 5. Then rolling for us, we add 2. 6 + 2 is 8. We beat him. Oh, man. Yeah, here we go. So that gets him down. Once his endurance is 4 or fewer, whichever is sooner, turn to 362. Okay, it's a good thing we didn't waste our thing. 362. All right, very good. There is some commotion in the gangway outside your cabin and shout, "Stop, villain!" Looking about him in agitation, Alucard suddenly breaks off from the battle and flees toward the rear of the train after getting absolutely gobsmacked by Dr. Seward. He roundhouse kicked the guy in the chest through the train car into the other one, and he flipped over backwards and fell on his back. Moments later, Arthur Holman and Quincy Morris just leap in through the windows while whipping on by swinging on whips and appear at your door. "Are you all right?" Arthur says. Before you can reply, there is a sudden squeal of metal on metal as the train's wheels seize and the Orient Express comes to an abrupt stop, which sends you three tumbling to the floor. Someone, no doubt your would-be murderer, must have pulled the emergency brake. If you want to head after him towards the rear of the train, turn to 411. Yeah. I don't want him getting away. I feel like there'll be negative ramifications. If you are the first one back on your feet and you make your way after Alucard, coming to the end of your carriage, you find a door. Okay, followed by your fellow vampire hunters. To your right, the icy face of the mountain. To your left, on the other side of the track, a sheer cliff. Ahead of you, you can just make out the black shape. Ooh, an agility test, I hope. He has good agility. Suddenly, shots are fired. And echoing from the ricochet of the wall, the back glory ice, you hear the dread rumbling of imminent avalanche. Oh, no. Giving up on your pursuit of Alucard, you turn and race back towards the train. Your boots and belt. Take an endurance test. Okay, so I have 22 endurance. Let's roll. Okay, yeah, I pass. If you pass the test, go to 482. 482. Okay. Let's go. Okay, you make it back to the train and your companions pull you back on board just as the avalanche hits. The avalanche rocks under the bulk, but thankfully the wheels remain on the tracks. It takes a day for the driver. The firemen and other staff dig the train out, but eventually you're on your way again, which is more than you can say for Johnny Alucard, who now lies buried under the snow rocks 1,000 feet below. Okay, well, that is what a saboteur encounter is. You know, I kind of like this because it's kind of, it's sort of showing what in the board game is just like a card. But what just happened is that's what a saboteur encounter is. We were delayed for a day. You know, it's like, oh, if you had the gun or, you discard the thing to prevent it. You travel night and day, arriving at Varna at about 5 o'clock in the evening. Arthur goes to consulate to see if any telegram has arrived. Okay. While there, you make your rest. Oh, is he going to mention Rufus Smith? In a drawer in the bedside table in the room, you find a well-thumbed English copy of the Holy Bible. If you want to take it, I mean, how do I not take the Bible? Come on, man. You cannot have enough Bible in your life. Arthur eventually returns with 4 telegrams. He has not been reported to Lloyd's from anywhere. You're evidently in good time, and you will be ready and waiting for the Count when he arrives. Great! Turn to 640. Oh, but he didn't mention Rufus Smith? Oh, that's sad. Poor Rufus Smith, not getting... Okay, so this is this, so I need to add 30, so I'll be at 670. I'm just going to type that in. 670. Okay, 10 days after your party arrives at Bulgaria, Arthur finally receives word. 5, 6, 7. Okay. Telegram. Rufus Smith, there he is! Let's go! Rufus Smith! From London to Lord Godalming. Care HBM. Okay, whatever. He coming. Rufus Smith doing his job. Extra point of damage. Yeah. Everyone reacts with wild excitement to the news, all except for Mrs. Harker. She alone among your party shows no sign of emotion. She has changed greatly during the past 3 weeks. She is lethargic, sleeping for much of the day, as well as the night, because she done got bit herself by a vampire. Okay. 24 hours from the Dardanelles to Varna. Oh, we're moving fast. We're playing that chartered carriage. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Quincy Morris has furnished you all with rifles and pistols. Ooh. Your musings lead you to your only logical conclusion. What if the bullets fired by the guns were not, but lead of silver? Ooh, if you want to try to acquire some silver bullets, turn to 768. If not, oh yeah, let's do it. So I get a pistol. Pistol. Always good to have a backup. Yeah, let's get us some silver. 768. 768. I know Jonathan has those coins. In a secluded back street, you find a gunsmith who will make some bullets for you for a price, but he does not have any silver from which to make them. If you want to give him... Ooh, interesting. If you want to give him the silver crucifix Van Helsing gave you, so that you can melt it down and use the precious metal in the fashion for some silver bullets for you, turn to 21. If you do not want to sacrifice your... Okay, so this proves that I do have the silver crucifix. Because it doesn't say if you have the silver crucifix. It says, do you want to... Oh, this is an interesting trade-off. I mean, we got to do it, guys. Come on, we got to do it. Okay, so here's my thoughts on this strategically. So, if we have the crucifix, presumably what will happen when we fight Dracula is he will get a debuff to combat. If we have the holy bullets, he'll take some sort of like preemptive damage. But for the memes, I'm going to get silver bullets. If you want to fashion some silver bullets for you, turn to 21. Oh boy, okay. 21. Ooh, I got it really close. Which I think gets me the silver bullets? Silver bullets? Come on. Hello? 21. Okay. You hand over the silver crucifix, strike the equipment. Okay, so I no longer have the silver crucifix. Bonk. But you return the following day, giving 3 dozen. I have to keep track of that. So that's 36 silver bullets. Return a few folded notes from his inexhaustible forge. Okay, 703. And I'm assuming these bullets work the same on pistols as his Winchesters, even though those are 2 different calibers. But, you know, you can't expect everyone to understand guns. Okay, I go to 703. Keep scrolling, 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 scrolling. Keep scrolling, 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 scrolling. Keep scrolling, 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 scrolling. Keep scrolling, scrolling. Oh, hold on. Okay. Ooh, that's a heal, but we're full health anyway. Over a week of waiting and still no tidings, but she ought to be here by now. That is, she is in the sea, apparently. The next day, there's no answer. No news from Van Helsing. News at last. Rufus Smith, he lets us know that she is entering Galatz. The Revelation account has evaded you. Yeah, so this is actually an example of like what the whole game is based on, Fury of Dracula, is this specific moment where they think he's going one direction, but it turns out it was a trick and he's going somewhere else, and they're like, ah, dang it, he was revealed over here. I was like, great, let's make an entire game about that. Arthur grows pale, and Quincy Morris tightens his belt, which you know means action. It must have been while Mrs. Harker was under hypnosis, the professor says. Just as our dear Mina can move with her mind, the Count must have a spirit to... Okay, Galatz is more than 200 miles away in Romania. The next train to Galatz leaves at 6:30 tomorrow morning. So your party spends the rest of the day preparing for the journey. Arthur arranged the train tickets. Okay. And so the morning, we go. 725. 725. Okay, we're getting in close. Train from Farn to Galatz is nothing like the Orient Express. It's worse, and that's why the rails in the east are worse than the rails in the west in the game. And also, I think that's historically true to a degree. Dressed in the rugged clothes of a ball exit. Something about his surreptitious manner that rouses your suspicion. See a curious hunchback fellow. If you want to find out where he is going, I'm going to find out where he's going. I think if I had like high terror, I maybe wouldn't do this. But I'm going to check it out. Because I sort of swapped to a new character so I could burn through his HP and stuff. Taking care not to draw attention, you set after him. By the time you reach the luggage van, the hunt bath seems to have disappeared, but your attention is drawn to a number of large cases and packing crates. Scientific equipment bears the name Frankenstein. What? Okay, this whole thing might have just taken a turn. Can I help you? No. I was merely looking for the dining car, perhaps? Suggests the other. Yes, the dining car, your Paul. It is that way, he says, pointing the luggage van. Thank you, he's saying. You start moving towards the exit. Good evening. You start to go... Okay, I took off the code word... Orvos. All right, and turned to 881. So I had thought that doing a bunch of different characters' paths would cause the blood score to go up, but it seems that not doing that has caused the blood score to go up because I didn't get all of those code words And then he got like 5 in one go. Okay, you arrive at Galatz, and the sun, the captain is show up. All right, guys, we're the Bosphorus. We got to kill us a Dracula, Count Dracula, and his papers. What is the name of the man? Wait, Count Dracula, he had his paper. Oh, right, we're going to encounter Emmanuel Hildershim. What was the name of the man who took it? Captain Donna's. Emmanuel Hildershim, yes. Bearing the address, right. Okay. Because the person who was supposed to accept the box was Emmanuel Hildershim. You find Hildershim in his office. He's reluctant to share any information with you to begin with, but as soon as Arthur opens his wallet and after a little bargaining, he finally tells you what he knows. Yeah, which is like, he's very not much in the book at all, but it's like, hey, we'll make him an ally. He had received a letter from Mr. Deville. Yeah, Devil. Deville. He's Mr. Devil. Dracula's not that smart when it comes to aliases. Box which arrived at Galatz. This is the pass. He had no choice. Certain while you were looking at the discussion. There, he shouts. You can see the black shadow of something lying atop the cold stone. Just as you move towards the tomb... Wait, tomb? What you should know. A boy comes running and gasping for breath, tells you that Skinsey has been found inside the graveyard at St. Peter's Church. Sounds like a wolf. Then we must be quick about our business. Do I want to encounter a bunch of wolves? Not very longer than necessary. Since I have the, like, holy bullets... I feel like I should go with Van Helsing to examine the body in the tomb. Rather be the hunter than the hunted. Anyone else want to come with me? As your party begins to split into 2 distinct groups, who will we want to follow? I don't have the crucifix anymore, so I'm a little worried about going to examine the body, so I'm going to go with Quincy Morris. Also, you know, Quincy Morris, 982. We go with Quincy Morris. We're going to fight us some wolves. Quincy sets off towards the back wall of the graveyard. Do you remember, Art, when we had to the pack after us get to Blisk? Quincy says, his Winchester already in hand. So you might think this is a throwaway line, but this is actually true. Quincy and Arthur and I think Seward have all gone on globe-trotting adventures prior to the events of the book. Take an ESP score. Unfortunately, my ESP sucks. But I still pass. Let's go. Okay. If you pass, turn to 998. 998. All right, 998. You suddenly receive a flash of insight and glimpse into something in your mind's eye. Tall and thick, claw-like hands, a distinction. Add 1 to my terror score. Well, I don't care. This is why I switched to a new character. Wait, you hiss as you hold it. Something isn't right. Running wolves in a Romanian graveyard while trying to track down a... Hey. Quincy Morris would not have sworn, okay? I don't appreciate this. Nothing about his entire endeavor is right. If you want to insist that your hunting party returns to the professor, that you all leave this place as quick as you can, turn to 942. Yeah, I think we should stick together. I think spreading out is a bad idea. So I'm going to insist that we help out Stan Belsing. We should be away from this place, you say. This is not England, and who knows what horrors might await us in the Romanian graveyard at night. Everyone else reluctantly agrees, and your party hastily makes its way, Quincy and the professor included. Back through the town to the hotel where you're to spend the night. Oh, I thought we were, like, going to go help the professor. Oh, well. But I passed that thing, and so I feel like this is worth it because I like avoided a negative effect because I got that 678. Where is it? Is this another one of those ones that isn't properly on the... All right, we'll find it. 678. Keep scrolling. I'm gonna do a little bit of hyperdrive. 6, 7. Six, seven, eight. Why wasn't I? If you want to continue the story as Mina Harker, turn to 47. If not, turn to 25. Well, I don't want to continue the story as Mina Harker. Because Mina Harker has low combat, and I really don't want to... I don't want to do that. And I haven't used any of my Pen is Mightier, and I have silver bullets. So, yeah. I'm sticking with Seward. 25, 25, 25. Come on, 25. You reconvene later that evening and suit up a supper at Mina's request. Recover. I'm still at full health. Wow. She comes to the meeting. I have been carrying out my investigation in the matter of how Count intends to return to Castle Dracula, and I believe I've made a discovery. He's going to use gypsies and box them on land. Now that we're on his trail again, I shall book a passage to the boat. Okay, so Quincy says, I shall hire horses to follow. Right, yeah, fast horses. Most powerful card in the game. Let's go. Speak up quickly, volunteering yourself to accompany one. Will it be with Arthur or with Quincy? Okay, hold on. I shall hire horses to follow on the bank in case he puts ashore. I gotta go with Quincy. I'm sticking with Quincy Morris. This is my one chance to play sort of as Quincy Morris. So we're going with Quincy. Excellent, says Van Helsing. Once you are prepared, I will take Madame Mina to visit by train. Less than 2 hours after the macabre visited the graveyard of St. Peter's, you are on your way traveling westward on horseback towards the Carpathian Mountains, following the course of the river. If you have the code word... Lana took off, turned to 12. Oh, I bet if we had stayed in that graveyard and fought whatever that monster was, we would have gotten this code word. But we don't. If not, go to 981. 981. Soup and soup. Okay, after 3 days on the road, you are feeling weary, having only as much rest at Fundu. You hear that the Fantama, carrying 1/3 of the party, has gone on to Bistrizza, Townsville. It is bitterly cold, and there are signs of coming snow. And then on the 5th day, since you left Galatz, with it having started snowing the night before, you reach the foot of Borgo Pass. Okay. Do you want to turn off the road and head towards the... Pressing into the night through the trees and darkness and snow, you see a flickering lights of a campfire. That's probably the Sisgani? Also, I can take some damage. I'm sus of that. It seems like it seems like a trap. Let's keep going. 953. I can take some damage. I wanna go. Quincy leads the way into the pass, and you stop some hours later when the moon hangs high and full. There's a pre-dawn color sky and mount up. Press on. Okay, all right. Let's press on. Press the on button. Turn to 26. And 26. There we go. Okay, you push your horses hard, barely resting. You roll well on your horses. Yeah. On the 6th day of November, push top of Carpathian Crags. The snow is falling. Yeah, I think Seward goes with Quincy in the book, and Jonathan stays on the boat. I think? Or is it just Van Helsing and Mina who are on the boat? I forget. Your horse is ready. You are soon off howling of wolves and snow. If you have the code word... Langok. I do have the code word Langok. Oh, did I get this early? No. If you have the code word Langok, take off to 991. Okay. 991. I'm curious what the payoff here is. The road becomes hemmed in by trees, which in place arches right over the roadway, so it is if you are passing through a tunnel. Great far-wing crags. The rising wind moans and whistles, branches in the trees, blah, blah, blah. Scary stuff. When the coachman stopped before, he delivered you to Castle Dracula and hurried into the woods in the direction of the flickering blue flames. If you want to break off your pursuit to see if you can find the exact spot again yourself, yeah, I'm going to do that because treasure. There's a little bit of incongruity here because it's saying you. When it was Jonathan and I switched characters, but it's fine. It's whatever. I don't care. Finding a small pyramid of stones, and you point with a knife. Your companions join in. It is a wooden chest. Pulling it free in earth, you smash the lock with your butt of your revolver and throw open the lid. The chest contains a curious collection of ancient golden coins, a tarnished knife, a helmet, a rusted chainmail shirt that look like they could have belonged to some crusader knight. The coin doubles have some value, but the ancient armor and knife are useless now. At the bottom of the casket, you find a knight's shield. It is in a poor state of repair, but it's still emblazoned with a red cross of St. George. Heck yes, let's go. I got a shield and a revolver with the holy bullets. If you want to take the shield with you, of course, record it on your adventure sheet. You may use the shield to protect yourself in battle. Okay, so we're going to copy this. John Seward, he's got the Holy Bible, and he's got the Shield of St. George. We'll call it the Knight's Shield, because that's what they call it. Okay. You may use the shield to protect yourself in battle, but if you do this, you may not use your revolver at the same time. Really? Can't revolver one hand? Okay. You must also reduce your combat score by 1. For as long as you are using the shield, you may reduce any damage you suffer by 1 point. That sucks. What a... You may use the shield to protect yourself in battle, but if you do this, you may not use your revolver at the same time. Well, but you use revolvers before combat. Is that just saying that I can't hold the revolver and the shield at the same time? But I could use the... Oh, that matters with the silver bullets, I bet. You cannot delay any longer as you're mounting your siege set off in quarter. Okay, 9, 6, 8. Okay, well maybe it'll be good. Maybe there's certain combats where it's like more important to just like not take damage. Because reducing the damage you suffer by 1 is actually more significant than you think, because you always take 2 damage. And it makes it so that if you tie and you both take a damage, you don't. So it turns ties into wins half the time. So I mean, maybe it's fine. Okay. The snow is falling more heavily now and swirls fiercely. Castle Dracula beyond the white waste of the snow, silhouetted against the red orb. They are racing for the sunset, he shouts. We may be too late. If the blood score is 12 or higher... Oh, it is. Oh, boy. Okay, the blood score is 12 or higher. We go to 934. 934. Yeah, this is interesting. Roll 1 die. Okay. We're rolling a die. It is 5. That's an odd number. If the number is odd, turn to 23. I think that's the bad option. 23. Am I going to have to fight? All around you, you can see wolves gathering singly as well as in 2s and 3s and even greater numbers and moving in for the kill. If you are going to stop the wagon, you're going to have to fight your way through the wolves first. I have used no uses of Pen is Mightier. I'm using Pen is Mightier now. If you want to use Pen is Mightier special ability, cross off 1 use. And turn to 76. All right, Quincy, drop a train on him. Okay, your heart leaps when you realize that the other members of your party, separated from for almost a week, are converging on the spot as well. Mina and the professor, Van Helsing, are rushing down the snowy slopes from the direction of the castle, kicking up great flurries of white powder while you can hear. Yeah, Mina has a gun in the book in this part of the scene. The wolves scatter while the Sisgani are momentarily thrown into disarray. Perhaps you're not too late after all. Add 1 use of Pen is Mightier the score to your adventure sheet. What? Huh, that's odd. Okay, the wind comes now in fierce bursts, driving furiously the snow before it, and sweeping around you in circles. You can distinguish the individual gypsies quite clearly now as the halt, you shout. The gypsies, the leader of the gypsies waves, and but your party of fearless vampires, your guns, and we're about to get a big gunfight. If you want to continue the story, no. If you want to, would rather continue the story as either Jonathan. Ooh. Okay. Do I want to switch to Jonathan because of the sword? No. Seward has the holy bullets. Let's do Dr. Seward. Whoop. 14 is going to be down here. Whoop. Okay, 14. Okay. The leader wagon slews to a halt, and the snow under the command instantly surrounded the cart, jostling one another. Okay, so either do you want to try to leap onto the cart to get to the box of earth secure there? We prefer to fight the gypsies. Sword's agility is 10. That's really high. I think we would try to leap on the cart. 3, 6, 6. Yeah, let's try to leap on the cart. Jumping down from your horse, you run at the Sisgani, hoping to take them by surprise. In confusion, barge past them before scrambling. Take an agility test. All right, Sword, roll it up. Oh, easily passed. Okay. If you pass the test, turn to 421. 421. Outmaneuvering the Sisgani, you pull yourself up onto the cart, and your companions engage the gypsies in battle. Before you is the last of the great wooden boxes containing the cursed earth of the Dracula's homeland and the vampiric cocoon within it. Pulling through the ropes, holding it in place, and putting your shoulder behind it, you give the crate a shove, sending it toppling to the ground. Take an endurance test. Okay, well, my endurance is max because I swapped characters. Yep, that's a pass. If you pass the test, turn to 461. If you pass 461. I wonder if I can get a result where Quincy doesn't die. That'd be fun. The box slides off the cart and crashes into the ground, but much to your annoyance. Whilst one corner splinters, disgorging some of the smoldering black soil, it otherwise remains firmly sealed. Oh, dang it. Hearing a cry and seeking out the source of the sound, among the melee, you see Quincy Morris engaged in a battle with a brute of a gypsy. The man appears to have the build and stature of a bear. Seeing the American in trouble, you leap down from the leader to assist him. 505. 505. Maybe Quincy won't survive. Or maybe I can pass the test and keep him from dying. That would be fun if there are alternates. Okay, I'm playing as Seward, so this does not trigger. Giving voice to a terrible roar, you hear a great bear of a man starts to change. His body appears to swell and... Oh, he is a bear of a man. Okay. You stagger away from the monstrous skin changing. Okay, this did not happen in the book. If you want to use, I am going to use Pen is Mightier here, because I can. Okay, if you want to use Pen is Mightier special ability and still can, turn to 615. 615. I am going to use Pen is Mightier. You look like you need a hand, announces Quincy, joining you before the cart. And before the bear man has a chance to react, sinks all 12 inches of his Bowie knife between the Sisgani's ribs. Yeah, let's go. The Transylvanian gives a terrible howl of pain, rage, even as his legs turn away. Oh, I have silver bullets. Turned to 395. I am very happy I have silver bullets. I think 3 silver bullets into this werewolf is good. Normally you want to like double tap. But given that this is like a giant bear man, I think a triple tap is in order. Okay, the gypsy is dead. Oh, are you sure? You turn your attention to the crate of earth. Plunging your blade under the lid, you set to prying it open. Let me help you with that, comes the familiar text under all. Quincy is back on his feet, and even though he's clutching a bloody fingers to his left side. Ah, dang it, he is going to die. Oh, phooey, even though I passed all the tests. Soon the two of you open the portentous box, seeing themselves covered by guns, your fellow vampire hunters, and entirely at their mercy. The gypsies prostrate themselves on the ground. Okay, great. Under the effort of both of you, the lid begins to last, and the nails... And there's the Count, lying deathly pale. But as you raise your weapon to strike him, his eyes flick open, catching sight of the sinking man. The look of hate within his blazing eyes turns to triumph, and his features take on the demonic lair. Okay, this isn't quite how it happened in the book, but this is cooler, so I'm going with this. Where you actually have to, like, fight him as a vampire at the end. Okay, take a terror test, adding 1 to the die roll. If you have the code word... Brosalem. Don't have that code word. Okay, take a terror test. Well, my terror is like a 2, so I think literally it is not possible for me to fail this. I just have to roll higher than a... Yeah, okay, I pass. Adding 1 to the die roll if you have the code word persona, ticking it ticked off. If you pass the test, turn to 19. I did pass the test. So I will turn to 19. Let's go. And then your blade is in your hand and you slice its keen edge through the vampire's throat. Yeah! A look of horror on his face. Dracula stumbles away from him, clutching the wound. His blood pumps between his claws' fingers. Suddenly, Quincy Morris is there beside you. And with a shout of rage and efforts, he plunges his great Bowie knife into the monster's heart. Before the very eyes, and almost in the drawing of breath, the vampire's entire body crumbles into dust! First the flesh and then the skeleton underneath, which disappears into the wind. In a moment, it is gone. Turn to 75. I think we did it, guys. I think we just whacked a dract. I think we stamped a vamp. I think we staked a drake. I think we ran through a Nosferatu. I think we behead an undead. I think we just 86'd some Transylvanian Hicks. Okay, but this is skull results, so we add 30. So that's going to be 105. 105. The wolves and gypsies have flown, leaving the corpse of those that fell littering the ground all about you, while Castle Dracula is nothing more than a grim silhouette against the darkening sky. But then there comes a terrible convulsion of the earth that sends your party falling to their knees. What? At the same moment, your roar that seems to have shaken the heavens, the whole castle, and even the crags upon seem to rise. After the cataclysmic destruction of the castle, an eerie silence waits about you. While the rest of you get to your feet, Quincy Morris remains on the ground, leaning on one elbow, a hand pressed against his side. You can see the blood gushing from the fingers. You hurry over to him, as does Lord Godalming, Professor Van Helsing, and Jonathan Harker, who kneels behind him, resting Quincy's head on his shoulder. With a feeble sigh and effort, Quincy takes Mina's hand in his, and seeing the anguish of her heart in her face, he smiles and says, "I am only too happy to have been of service. Oh God," he cries, suddenly thrusting up into a sitting position and pointing at the distraught woman. "It is worth dying for this. Look." Mrs. Harker's face is suddenly bathed in a rosy light. You join Arthur and the professor in sinking to your knees, a deep and earnest amen breaking from your lips as your eyes follow Quincy's finger to the rest of the unblemished skin of Mina's forehead. "Now God be thanked that all has not been in vain," your American friend gasps. "See, the snow is not more stainless than her forehead. The curse has passed away." And to your bitter grief, but with a smile on his lips, Quincy dies, a gallant gentleman to the end. That is basically exactly how it happens in the book 1000. That's going to be the final page. Let's go. Jonathan Harker's Gurnal. Jonathan Harker? I ain't Jonathan Harker. But we get a heal, and that's what matters. Okay. 7 years ago, we all went through the flames, and the happiness of some of us since then is, we think, well worth the pain we endured. It is an added joy to Mina and to me that our boy's birthday is the same day as that on which Quincy Morris died. His mother holds, I know, the secret belief that some of our brave friend's spirit has passed into him. His bundle of names linked all our little band of men together, but we call him Quincy. In the summer of this year, we made a journey to Transylvania and went over the old ground that was, and is to us, so full and vivid and terrible memories, it was almost impossible to believe that the things which we had seen with our own eyes and heard with our own ears were living truths. Every trace of all that had been was blotted out. When we got home, we were talking of the old time, which could all look back without despair. For Godalming and Seward are both happily married. See, that's an interesting point. Godalming and Seward get married, even though they were both like, oh, we'll never find another love. But, a lot of times it's like that in life. You think you'll never find someone, and then you do. I certainly know about that. I took the papers from the safe where they had been ever since our return so long ago. We were struck with the fact that, in all the mass of materials of which a record is composed, there is hardly one authentic document, nothing but a mass of typewriting, except the later notebook of Mina and Seward and myself and Van Helsing's memorandums. We could hardly ask anyone, even if we wished to accept these as proofs of so wild a story. Van Helsing summed it all up as he said with our boy on his knee, "We want no proofs. We ask none to believe us. This boy will some day know what a brave and gallant woman his mother is. Already we know her sweetness and loving care. Later on he will understand how some men so loved her that they did dare much for her sake." The end. Godspeed.